Commissioner Briggs, did you need to see this?
Pardon?
Did you want to see this?
I
Yeah.
didn't see it, but we can't see it.
Yeah, well, that's, will you hand this down, Commissioner Briggs, please?
Kevin, where am I looking?
See where it says boat storage?
No, I'm blind. Oh, is that it right there?
That's the lot table. That's good. Share with them.
Should be open. Why, no.
No, you're not getting.
Just a second, I'll get it kicked up.
Well, this is, can we go ahead and talk now, or what?
Fine with me.
Now, this, what we're looking at here is the original East Bay, is that correct?
East Bay Phase 1A, as recorded in 2006.
Right. Now, since that time, since that was bought, the development was bought, but now we're what, Sunrise?
But this is the plat of East Bay Phase 1A that's on the screen. So somebody might have bought some of the lots, or there's some more undeveloped vacant land behind it, but that was platted by the commission in 2006, and lots were sold off and all that. So
Well, isn't this a PD?
part of it is zoned PD, and for some reason, the rest of it, including the boat storage part, and a lot of the unplatted was left undesignated. Probably,
So the boat storage that the PD and the developers are advertising is not in?
the boat storage is undesignated as far as Callaway's zoning, but it is part of the plat of East Bay Phase 1A.
Okay.
And
So
there's-
what are we looking at? Are we looking at a cleanup situation?
Basically, yeah, I think probably back in
I
2006.
mean, a legal cleanup
Well,
situation?
yeah, legally, I think back in 2006, when the commission approved this plat, they should have made sure that everything in the plat boundary was zoned, And again, it mostly is, but they left, I don't know if they could scroll a little bit, there's part of the, scroll to the north.
Let's go to the north.
Right. There's part of the plat boundary,
North. Not part of the plat.
no, north, there you go, keep going. Where it says future development, that's also part of the plat boundary. It just says future development, which I'm sure is undesignated as well. So to me, looking at this, I agree for the boat storage, it's clearly platted as boat storage. It wasn't left as, future, retained by developer, future development. There are some areas, like right here on the screen, that say future development. That was not one. Boat storage was not one of them. It was clearly, that's the name of the lot, like you buy lot 10, or you buy boat storage. So anybody who bought in there would see that recorded plat and know.
Well, anybody that bought in there would be looking, the salespeople would saying, if you have a boat, this is where your boat's going to be stored.
100%.
Now, who's controlling, regardless of this apparent sale, et cetera,
In 2006, it was still retained by the developer.
by the developer?
Right. It didn't go to the HOA, it was retained by the
All
developer.
right, did the developer eventually turn that over to the HOA? And is there an active HOA now?
They did not, because the developer, I think, eventually sold it because it's a separate parcel, just like you would say lot 11 or lot 12 or whatever is a separate parcel. They sold it.
Now, if that is taking place on this, when I look at the marina side of it, is the same thing going to occur concerning the
I'm
marina?
not sure if the marina is part of, there's this future development parcel here to the north. I'm not sure exactly where the marina is, if it's that or if it's farther north or not.
Well,
But
they're
we're looking
advertising
at-
that in their advertisement,
Right.
this is where the marina's going to be.
Right, right. Okay, but if it's not part of this, unless it's here where it says future development, well, first of all, it doesn't say, if that's where it is, it doesn't say marina, so I don't think you would have the same arguments. So unless there's a phase 1B or phase 1C or whatever, I don't think you'd have the same arguments that you'd have now where it is platted as boat storage. Period.
Mr. Fry, is that where the marina
That's-
was going to go, where it says future development?
It may be even farther north.
Already a across the street.
Yeah, maybe farther north and not in the plat boundary.
Yeah, well, it'd be against that water which is on the north side. And if that is designated, already designated as a marina, then that would actually be commercial property. And I don't know how.
Again, I don't know if that marina, where the proposed marina is, I don't know if that's even been platted. All we know is about, for this parcel today,
Undesignated.
I don't even know if it's plat, I mean, if it's part of a plat at a different phase. I don't think it's on this plat.
But the marina has nothing to do with this.
No, but it looks like, years ago, Florida was recognized as selling swampland, but, and it looks like, and when the East Bay came up, that's one of the reasons we put our water and sewer extension going out there. We needed part of that 7,000. We needed part of those units and all. This reason I'm saying this looks like housekeeping is if this was designated as trailer parking, and all the residents that bought in out there, whether they had a boat or not, if they got a boat, they could put their trailer or actually their boat in that spot out there. Now, that would be part of the developer, that'd be part of the HOA if they're telling the residents, this is where you can put your boat. So my question is...
It could have been, so like they designated this on the plat as boat storage.
Right.
The developer retained it. Now, he could have sold 10 or 12 lots off, got some money, and he could have easily quitclaim deeded the boat storage parcel to the HOA if he wanted to, or sold it to somebody private. You've got a lot of...
But can he sell that off with that being designated boat storage? Can he sell that off?
As boat storage, yeah.
Well, as boat storage.
Yeah, and so that's why they're here today.
Not as car storage, not as all the other, not as anything else. Not as putting it has to be there as boat storage.
It is called boat storage.
So when they sold this property to the individual, there was the understanding this is for boat storage, not for you to be putting a garage on it, not for you to put start using automobile storage in there or whatever. Is this part of the...
I think it would, whatever that comes, boat storage, whatever sort of ancillary uses you have to that. Obviously, people have to park boats and cars and trailers with it, but yes, all we have to go by is in 2006, it said boat storage, and so that was the expectation.
Then it comes back to us.
So we're just trying to get it zoned and land used properly because it was left undesignated for some unknown reason.
But my question is, if it's going to be for boat storage, what are we back involved in this for?
Because it never got designated. It's just undesignated, unzoned land.
So that's the housekeeping?
That's why we're here.
Okay. Is there an active HOA?
I was told there was.
I do know that there is a document.
I'm saying it's going this way out there, is it?
I know there's a document that's been recorded that removes not just this parcel, but various other parcels in the area from any sort of encumbrance.
There may be an HOA,
presented by a declaration.
but the boat storage lot is not part of it apparently. It's not subject to the HOA restrictions.
So the HOA has no, so that kicks it back to us?
We're just trying to get it's sitting there we approved it as boat storage on the plat, and for some reason the city commission in 2006 didn't make sure it was zoned. It could have been PD zoning, it could have been commercial like they're asking for, it could have been whatever fits, but they just left it undesignated, so it's sort of sitting in no man's land, so they're just trying to, like you said, housekeeping.
There's no zoning on that property.
Right, they're just trying to do housekeeping.
There's no zoning on it.
Yeah.
It's going from undesignated to the proposal is commercial.
So basically, the residents, any of the residents in in this have no stake whatsoever in this property.
Well, I mean,
Or the
if
use-
it's
or
not
the
part of the
use-
HOA, then they wouldn't.
Or the
have
use
to.
of the property.
As far as, like any resident, when you're looking at a rezoning or land use change, can always come as stakeholders because they're adjacent. I guess my issue is, this one says flat out boat storage. If they were coming here to redesignate the one that says future development, well, okay, we look at all the surrounding uses, does it fit,
Right.
Here, our hands are kind of tied by our 2006 Callaway commissioners, because they looked at this plat, approved it, and signed it. So that's going to be boat storage.
As boat storage.
Right. So we're looking at today, what land use fits and what zoning will fit for boat storage.
Well, when we get into, the land use,
That's.
but when we get into the zoning
Zoning, you
of
have
it,
3 choices, right, for commercial, or whatever.
in the zoning, we don't have the capability of saying this is only going to be boats, do we?
No, we've just got to get it, that, which is why I'm saying it probably back then should have been part of the PD, where it's all laid out in there under a master plan. And for some reason, they sort of
Do
halfway phased it in.
we have any responsibility toward what wasn't done back then?
No, not us.
Well, I mean,
The commission does, the city does,
Yeah.
because the city approved it, but.
no, you guys didn't make that decision in
We didn't make that
2006, obviously,
decision.
but yeah, you don't want to leave anything
There's no way we make that
undesignated.
decision today.
You know.
So we really don't have a choice. This is going to have to go in that direction. And actually going in that direction, since the development, CRA, the developers have no stake in this now, but the stake that we have in it is it has to be at least today,
I would say it has to be designated something that's consistent with boat storage. If they were
Right.
doing the future development, which is just no man's land, then you've got choices to make. But it says literally boat storage. That's the name of the lot.
so we don't.
I don't want to make that argument in front of a judge.
I see we don't have a choice there. Now, according to the letter, and read every word of everything of what you sent us and what we have and all that, according to what you want to do, you want to put a building on it, you want to store automobiles in it, antique automobiles, et cetera. I don't know if, I guess we don't have anything to do with it, whether you charge with boat storage or what. Maybe there's an income stream there. I don't know, but I don't see where we're involved in that side of it. And I don't see a way that we can stop you from putting your building on there and unless we have some legal way to say, wait a minute, this is boat storage and you can't put additional buildings on it, et cetera. And if we go on this route, we'd be going commercial, and commercial can change.
Right, and I agree with what you're saying. I mean, from the city's role,
Right.
we don't want undesignated land out there. It shouldn't have been undesignated.
Right.
We're fixing that. So since we approved it, platted as boat storage, we need to put whatever designation is appropriate. It sounds like it's commercial. As far as any sort of like further restriction, I think that'd be up to, neighbors or whoever. Like when it gets started, they can sit there and say, well, hey, again, if they do something different on it that's not allowed there in commercial, and they could pull the plat up, and especially if it's part of the HOA, but I guess it got removed from that, but we're not part of the HOA. There are certainly other arguments that can be made by neighbors and private citizens, but as looking at the City of Callaway Commission, we need to designate this, and we approved it in 2006 as a boat storage lot.
Right.
So we need to do what's consistent with that to clean it up, and that's the end of it. Any other arguments would come from, you know, neighbors or any other aggrieved parties.
Well, any other arguments would actually be started by the property owner, who is maybe wanting to do something that the neighbors and everything don't want done.
Right.
But at this point, we have no option that, you've answered my question, there's no option that, other than,
Well, I mean, I guess my thing is the commission in 2006 already, they approved it. Like I said, if it's a future development or just retained by a developer,
you know,
yeah, I think you got plenty of options, but that's not what it said. It said boat storage.
yeah. Now, to have other options other than boat storage, does the owner have to come back and ask for those, which he actually already has on his?
Well, I think, once you get the land use and zoning right, you still have to come back and get, you know, development order and, I mean, whatever. We're just doing the land use and zoning. Well, we're just doing first reading, actually. We're not doing anything.
And this is the first reading.
Right.
Right, well, this is the first reading, but at least this will be the same as second reading. You know, the additional discussions that are going to occur with the zoning. And that's going to get interesting.
Do you gentlemen have anything to say?
I don't like it, you know, and is already talking, boat storage says car storage, so is it gonna turn into a car garage? You know, and that has to be addressed later on by us, you know, but I don't like the whole issue. You know, basically you got a wrong that we're trying to make right, but in my mind, we're making two wrongs, you know. In other words, why do we have to rezone it? Why can't we just leave it the way it is?
Because it's undesignated.
No, it's not, it's designated as boat storage.
Well, it's platted as boat
Yeah.
storage, but there's
Right.
there's no future land use or zoning on that property.
Yeah,
Then
And as a city,
there would
you
be
don't
no,
have-
then
you
there
don't
would
want
be
that
no
in your
restriction.
right, I know.
Yeah, it's true. You do anything.
Right.
So at least this does put some restriction on
I
it.
understand.
We have to go with this first part.
I don't like it, but I understand.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it goes to page 1, there's 5 people we can blame in 2006.
I know,
Their names.
I know who they are.
That's right,
yeah.
and it's none of
We all
us.
know who they are, yeah. It should have never been done, but it was done.
Right.
You know.
So it should have never been left undesignated.
Right,
The target
exactly.
area.
It wouldn't happen today.
Right.
You know,
Absolutely not.
you know.
You have anything, Commissioner?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So, does anybody did you all have anything else to say?
No, I mean, as far as it's not a commercial outlet facility. I've always had a bunch of antiques and stuff like that. It's always been for personal use. You know, and there's been some frictions around, but that's all personal use. So,
Okay, thank you so much.
thanks.
Did anybody in the audience want to comment on this item? Yes, sir? I need you to come up to the microphone.
Okay, thank you. My name is Matt Bullard. I live at 11533 Poston Road. And Honorable Mayor, Honorable Commissioners, this rezoning, and I'm a little confused by what has been done in the past, but putting 2.7 acres in the middle of single-family dwellings is not a metaphor or simile for spot zoning. This is spot zoning. This will kill a neighborhood, it'll hurt in the long run, add lower taxes and property values, not to mention traffic, and we have a petition from a lot of the residents there. Those residents and those homes weren't there for a profit motive. That's where people live. And so to put a commercial property right in the middle of that is just incredible. And there's over 40 categories of commercial that he could, or the applicant could decide to change. So if that's your vote, you got to vote, I guess, to rezone it. And that's, of course, your power to do that, each one of you. So please consider either not rezoning it. That's what the residents of that area. So, and one other problem, the peninsula that jabs out into East Bay, and there's more houses going to be built, more traffic, of course. We expect that. But this will add tremendously to that. But other things could be put there. So you have the authority, of course, and the power to rezone property. That's part of what you have to do. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, well, excuse me, this gentleman raised his hand. You can come on up, sir.
I'm willing to wait if you want to go. I'm Joel Smith, 6423 Cherry Street. And I guess my point's a little bit interesting in, from a growth standpoint. Seems like Callaway's been kind of growing and feels like it's kind of healing. And I think about small business, and my points kind of dovetail with the comments earlier on the tourism. And I find it interesting that the developer has platted, and for each people, all the people in the community have seen this specified as boat storage. And Mr. Trail comes in and buys this thinking he can do that with that. Now, I'm sure there's a lot of blame that could be poked in a lot of different places, but clearly he looks disenfranchised by the developer presenting to all the homeowners that this is going to be boat storage. He makes a big investment and finds out that now we have to go specify the land use from a regulatory standpoint. It doesn't look like this was taken care of appropriately out of the beginning. I don't know who's responsible for that. But it feels a lot like a not in my backyard, and I don't know how the city deals with this. I'll call it in the more center of town, where you're talking about businesses that want to come in, make investments in Callaway, provide community services, grow the community, and you start getting specific on what they can do. We can't stop growth. Growth is going to occur out on the perimeters, wherever. It will eventually reach this neighborhood. As a matter of fact, there's only one street that goes through this neighborhood, and it goes into the county. As far as I know, the county could zone a commercial business out into the peninsula that would bring all the same traffic issues. They could actually do an automotive oil change garage out there, which I haven't heard anybody's going to do this. But my point is this seems like a fairness issue, and it feels like a growth. Why not be fair? Why not be fair to people that want to invest? He had no idea he would not be able to make this progress in this investment. So I call on you guys to vote for growth in the city, support a small business. It is tough for neighbors, but I feel like some of the neighbors are a little bit, have misinformation, and it's not clear to me that this is a bad thing, because we have a lot of water there. There's boats parked in the HOA against the rules, and they don't even enforce those. A boat storage would be a nice amenity.
Thank you, sir.
I call on you guys, vote for fairness.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, you wanted to come up.
I'm Lloyd Hildreth, and I live at 11923 Poston Road, and I've been asked by 52 of the residents of Poston Road, or the people who use Poston Road to get to and from their homes, to present a petition to y'all asking for no commercial zoning. I bought the house on the corner of Poston and 2297 that was the office model home for the original East Bay community. Nobody ever lived in the house. It sat there empty for 9 years, and it was full of all their promotional materials. This is a copy, if y'all want to look at it, of the original East Bay plan. Everything commercial is shown in red. The boat storage place is not shown in red. It shows a dry storage stack boat storage over at a marina, a commercial marina. It shows shops and restaurants along the water. It shows back here on Pickling Bayou, a little piece of commercial. The boat storage was supposed to be a free place for the people at East Bay to store their boats and trailers. It wasn't to be a commercial business. And I don't believe if it was part of that community, it would have had to been zoned commercial back then. I may be wrong on that. But the original intention is for a free place that's not commercial for the residents of East Bay to store their stuff. The other thing is, the roads out there are horrible. I know y'all voted to get them done, but for 5 years they've been horrible. The stormwater runoff is horrible. Everything floods. We just don't need commercial in the middle of all this right now. I personally don't have a problem with a hobby workshop building on the piece of property. And I don't think many of the residents do. I mean, he'd have to abide by code enforcement and all, but changing this to commercial is just wrong. It was never intended to be commercial, if y'all want to look at this.
I do. And can you provide a copy of your petition? Can you give it to?
Give it to the city clerk.
I've got 2 of these.
Was there anything else, sir? Your time's just about up.
That's
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to comment that, being a broker myself, I can see the salespeople passing that out, but what's law is the plat.
That's it.
You know-
Whatever they put on the plan doesn't really
Yeah,
mean
whatever they
anything.
put, whatever, and I understand what's going on, I don't like that either, but being a broker, I can see the salespeople funneling that out.
There's
But at
just
the end of the
good
day, the
advertising.
plat overrides that.
Well, normally, if I can cut in here,
No, go ahead.
normally what you would have and what I would expect on this, that this property designated as boat property, boat storage, would be common, would be part of the common of the development. Now, what happened and why this happened, they sold that rather than it being common property. They apparently sold that piece,
Right,
which then at that point
that's where the dilemma
lost
started.
that, yeah, and that's where.
That'd be normal and very, I mean, how many times have we seen at the beach where a developer retains the swimming pool and says, no, that's a private club. So yeah, you're part of the condo HOA and you pay our HOA dues, but you want to use the pool and the tiki hut, you
Yeah.
gotta join a club and it's going to the, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean, it happens. So, yeah, in an ideal world, sure, it'd be common area and.
well, when there was,
That's what's making it.
if I was buying property out there,
They have
that's
these
what I
private
was,
clubs and private amenities and you have to pay.
that's what I was alluding to before. If you were buying property out there and you had a boat, and very honestly, the way they've designed the houses and all, there's no parking on the front, everything is in the rear. So this would have been an ideal situation if I was buying out there, that this is where I could store my boat or my trailer if my boat was in the water and all that. So, but that meant that it had to be common around.
But it was sold.
So when it was sold to an individual, to me, they lost that opportunity. So that's, and that, here again, unfortunately, then that kicks it back to us.
Right.
Because then it becomes a piece of property that's not common and not part of the. So when they made that decision, whoever made that decision back then to sell it to the individual, that's where the follow-up came.
That's right.
It's not that we, sometime back then, it's not that it wasn't designated commercial or anything at that time, so it's really not housekeeping. It's new because they sold the property and got it away from.
Well, but when they recorded that plat, that's when you would have dedicated it to the HOA. So it is old, because the city commission could have seen that then
Yeah.
And they allowed that developer to retain all these future, there's several future development parcels in this plat of 1A alone. And then there's a boat storage parcel, which is all retained by the developer, retained by the owner. Yeah, so if the commission wanted that way, they said, should set an HOA, make that HOA, I mean, I don't know that we actually legally could have done that, but that's what you see a lot of the times, you're right, but. This
Well,
was
we could have done it
approved.
later if the people
This,
that
yeah,
bought in out
this
there
developer still
realized.
could have, he still could have said, I'm gonna dedicate that to HOA, you know, a year from now or 2 years from now, but when we recorded this plat, well, he actually owned all of it, and then he sold lots off, and then instead of giving anything to HOA, he sold the boat storage parcel off.
Did anybody else in the, yes, ma'am?
My name's Donna Yielding. I'm at 11413 Fowler Street. How do you know that it was going to be zoned commercial, that plat?
We don't know it was gonna be that, we know it was designated as boat storage, that's all we know.
Okay, so there's only one way in there. Original plan, there was supposed to be 2 more streets going in from 2297, and that just, you know, the whole thing fell out. The builder went under, and then Adams Homes came in, and that's what I'm in, is in an Adams home. I'm against this. I have signatures from my community of Adams Homes that are against it. Has anybody been out there to look? You have?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, when you come in, you see a little beautiful sign, and you'll come in, and it's to the left. There's some pine trees right now there until that property is sold, and don't know how that's gonna go. But I don't mind about the boat deal, but I'm worried about this metal building, 2-story building, that could go in there. And then what will happen down the line when he's done with it and somebody else wants to put a dollar store or whatever? It does not look good. It's not gonna look good. I'm scared I'm gonna lose on my investment. Thank you.
Ma'am? 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 Where do you live on the map?
Where do I live?
Yes, ma'am.
Well, that's
I believe there was someone else that wanted to speak. If you want to come on up.
Does she want to turn? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's.
did you want to turn your petition into,
There's.
did you want to turn your petition into the city
There's where you
clerk?
come in.
Yeah, I am over in here.
Excuse, I need y'all to go ahead and get finished with your side discussion, please.
Thank you, ma'am.
Go ahead, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Christina Bear, and I live at 11725 Poston Road. And I apologize if I stumble through this. I'm a novice to proceedings and plannings and plats, and I don't fully comprehend it. Only thing I do know is I'm one of the 6 houses that you have to pass in order to get to the turn to the proposed development. And understanding that the community is currently being built, so there will be construction workers. I'm looking at the long goal of eventually that'll go away, and our quiet little community will go back to just single-family homes, quiet, people can walk down the road. I see their families, they're riding on their bikes. And I question if that's going to happen if we open it up. I wasn't aware that it was originally, let me backtrack. I was aware that it was a boating area. My house, when it was sold to me, I was told that that was a community for us, and I understand there might be some issues there, but that would be for us to park, not to bring outsiders, which could, if we open it up, could bring others that don't live in the community down that area. I get it, it's towards the start of the community, but I'm in one of those 6 houses. They're gonna have to pass by mine. We have issues with the roads. not knowing I could walk down to my neighbor's house, I don't know these people, so I'm definitely opposed to that. Also, I was told, and I can point out on the map, the area in front of me and behind me is protected wetlands. I guess shame on me, I didn't do the research, but my understanding that nothing would happen. That's why I bought my house, because I was told that it would be a quiet area, there would not be built-up developments, it would just be single-family homes, single-family use in a community. I understand if we want to talk about the fairness of this individual bought the property, which to me that seemed like we need to do research and look at how that was done, because it was sold in a way that it would be open to the community to use for community members to park their boats, the RVs, etc. But if we're talking about fairness, if I recall, it's either 51 or 52 members of the community that are opposed to this. And I apologize if I didn't say earlier, I'm opposed to this as well. I'm one of the members who signed against a member who recently bought the land. So if we're talking about fairness, what about those 52 members? I bought a house, I'm a first-time homeowner. If this gets even opened up and what could come from that, I don't fully know, again, the plotting and the landing and everything about how much, but are all the trees going to come down? And then I'm going to have to look at businesses and things in front of my house. I'm going to lose the value on my home, and if that does happen, I'm starting to think I'm going to have to look to move inside my house, because that's not the community that I moved to. That's not what sold me on buying that house, and I've invested my time and effort and money into this house.
Sorry, your time is up. Thank you. Yes, sir?
Good evening, members of council, mayor. My name is William Troop. I live at 11733 Poston Road. I'm one of our neighbors. I have great concerns about this. Again, when we're talking about boat storage, it was sold to us as residential boat storage, for us to be able, the community members, not to be a commercial facility that would charge for people outside the community, and we envisioned just the members of the community doing boat storage there. There was no mention of a commercial auto repair facility or auto hobby shop, okay? We're talking about a commercial, that's our concern, it's commercial versus residential. I have no problem with somebody building a garage and, is associated as a residential community, but what happens if the property changes hands? Then it becomes an auto repair shop. There's serious public safety, environmental, and traffic concerns that I mentioned to the Planning Commission. I mean, you're talking a large amount of flammable fluids, you're talking about a large amount of potential environmental contamination, stuff that gets spill into the common waterway. As you know, that the water table is very high there. We all in our community do not want a commercial auto repair or maintenance facility in our community. A residential storage facility for classic cars, that's not a problem. But when you're talking a commercial auto repair facility with all the hazards, traffic, environmental issues, and public safety issues associated with that, that should not happen in our community. We deserve better. When we all bought there, we never envisioned having an auto repair shop across the street from us. Okay, and it was sold to us, as she mentioned, that those wetlands were never to be built on. That's the reason I bought my house, is I could have an impeccable view in front of my house of unbuildable wetlands. And again, is there a way we can do this to meet the needs of Mr. Trail in a residential way occupancy that wouldn't have commercial implications? I do not want an auto repair shop in our community. And by the way, the boat storage has no mention of auto storage or any auto repair or anything like that. And the boat storage was for the community of the residents to enjoy it at no cost. That's the way it was presented to us. Not a commercial facility where people are going to come put their boats there. And what's that traffic going to look like? At 5 o'clock in the morning when people go fishing, are they going to be, heading up their generators, emptying bilge pumps? And what's going to be how are they going to dispose of whatever waste and other things that come from the boats, as well as this proposed auto storage facility? Again, I get that your hands may be tied with regards to the boat storage, but again, there has to be environmental concerns. How are we going to address that? How are we going to address the traffic? The traffic is horrible, as my neighbor, Mr. Hilderson, mentioned. How are we going to deal with that? I really implore you not to do this. If we can find a way to get a residential type of thing for the commercial, for the not commercial, for the auto storage and repair facility, I get that. But we cannot have a commercial occupancy in a residential community. There's too much public safety, environmental, and traffic concerns. Thank you very much.
Thank you. maybe I'm missing something. I did not hear any, you can go ahead and sit down, sir. I did not hear anything about an auto repair shop. Is there a plan for an auto repair shop?
No, ma'am.
Okay, that's all I wanted to clarify, because I had not, I had heard personal storage of your personal vehicles. That was it.
It would not be allowed in community commercial anyway.
Right, there's community commercial.
Exactly. And that community commercial does restrict the uses. I don't, would a Dollar General fit in community?
No.
So see, so you're concerned about a Dollar General, it would not be a Dollar General. Who else? I know somebody, yes, ma'am.
Lynn Smith, I can empathize with the feelings of the neighborhood, but it really sounds like their problem is with the builder, not with the trails. It's an unfortunate situation, but if the builder had the intention to make this a community boat storage, then it was on him, not on people that now own that property, to do this for them. So I understand their concerns and their unhappiness, but it is what it is. And if you've got a problem with your builder, don't take it out on the folks that are trying to do goodness in the community. It's, go beat the builder up, not them.
Thank you.
Can I say one thing?
No, you already spoke, so I'm sorry. Was there somebody else who had not spoken? Yes,
Can I
sir.
ask a question?
We're going to have the zoning item in a second. but-
Who wanted to ask a question? No, you already spoke too, sir. Yes, sir, you can come up. Yes, there will be, this is only the first reading, so,
Also, the one of these, we're going to do the zoning.
and we're gonna do the zoning, we're gonna do zoning as
You'll
well.
have a chance to talk in a couple
We'll be
minutes.
here till midnight, if Bob was right. Go ahead.
Yeah, we probably all could have spoke on the next topic, right, zoning.
We'll do it again.
Maybe I should just wait until that topic.
Well, no, go ahead, your time is.
Joshua Griffin, I live on Primrose, way past the subdivision. I'm not part of the HOA. I've been there over 15 years, probably longer than most of these people here. I've been in the Cook Bayou community since the 90s, so well established in the community. That being said, I lived there before all the homes were built. Now, this plat that we have here, does it also show and record the other entrances to the subdivision that was approved?
I don't, and this
Because-
is just 1A, so I'm not sure how far it goes.
Well,
Perhaps
There's several pages.
perhaps the next plat does.
here's your,
That we have intention, right,
there's the other.
access to the community. And we have, hey, boat storage. That's what it says, granted. No problem with that. To you, sir, yeah, we're neighbors. No problem with having personal things, growth. It would be great to have a marina. It would be great if that all came to fruition for the community, like with the tourist development presentation that was here tonight. I'm fine with all that. But we have to make preparations before those things take place. And Commissioners, Ms. Mayor, Commissioner Peltier especially, thank you so much for the initial improvements that you've made in repairing the roads that we have. Albeit elementary repairs, so to speak, initial, right, Mr. Cook, we talked about. There is a lot of work that has to take place because we could never afford as a community, as a city, to put in a brick paver road. But to maintain it, oh my goodness, what a whole other story. All we've done is put blacktop to fill the holes. That is atrocious, but we got rid of the holes and we're not damaging our tires. All of that brings us to the current topic, a commercially zoned property, even though it's not as platted as boat storage. Intention, is this a moot point now? Is the whole development order that was approved in 2006-07, is it a moot point because it's no more? Where do we go from here? Again, I don't, like has been said, okay, a building, fine. I have buildings. But having the infrastructure in place to support said, just like the rest of the intent for the whole development, would have supported that. And right now in our present circumstances, it does not. You know, if there was a multi-story family building going to go in, who would be required to bring the infrastructure in place to support it? That would be the case
Sorry, sir. Is there anybody else that hasn't spoken that wants to speak?
I have a question.
I'm sorry, sir, you spoke. Really not. I mean, I can't let everybody talk twice. We're already into a lot of time now. We'll talk about the zoning next, so you can speak again when we talk about zoning. Would that help? Is there anybody that hasn't spoken on this item that wants to speak? Did you raise your hand? Oh, sorry. Not seeing anybody. Would someone up here like to make a motion? We'll further discuss up here.
I'd like to make a motion to approve ordinance number 1124, small-scale comp plan amendment, 1023 Primrose Street, parcel ID 07384-277-000, first reading.
Okay, we've got a motion. Do we have a second?
And included would have to be in that, land use for commercial.
Well, that's the request.
It's all part
That's
of
the
the
motion.
request.
next one.
Well, the
No,
land use
that's-
of commercial is the ordinance.
I mean,
Yeah, it's
I
part of
did-
the 1124.
Yeah.
That's land use.
Correct.
So are
And
you
we-
seconding?
I'll second it.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second. Is there any further discussion?
First reading.
This is the first reading, so if this passes, it will come back at the next meeting.
And
So,
in the meantime, Ashley can provide us with the petitions.
yes. Okay, if there's no further discussion, go ahead, City Clerk.
Commissioner Griggs?
Yes.
Commissioner Pelletier?
No.
Commissioner Ayers?
Yes.
And Mayor Henderson?
Yes. Okay, we will go on to item number 2, which is the rezoning of that same parcel, City Attorney.
Okay. This is a first reading of ordinance number 1125, an ordinance rezoning from undesignated to community commercial, a certain parcel of land lying within the city of Callaway, Florida, consisting of approximately 2.71 acres more or less. Said parcel is located at 1023 Primrose Street, Callaway, Florida. Parcel ID 07384-277-000. All is more particularly described in the body of the ordinance, repealing all ordinances or parts of ordinances in conflict herewith, and providing that this ordinance shall take effect immediately upon passage.
City Manager.
Mr. Fry, please provide a definition also of community commercial for the record.
So community commercial is defined by section 15.550 of our land development regulations. If anybody wants to look up that at our cityofcallaway.com. It does allow for several uses. It is the least intense commercial designation that the city of Callaway has. I was asked if there's a possibility of doing a residential some kind of way with a variance, but it would require too many variances, too many things. It really needs to be zoned a commercial, be given a commercial designation. The closest thing to an automotive repair shop, whether it be boat, antique cars, new vehicles, whatever, would be number 4, automotive accessory, tire and battery shop, in parentheses, new product at retail only. So that's basically a little store that would sell batteries and whatnots for vehicles. In no way is Mr. Trail or anyone who buys this property in the future going to be able to do automotive repair and start advertising for, hey, bring me your car, your boat, your RV, we're going to work on it here. They're just not going to be allowed to do it in this zoning designation. So, and I highly doubt we're going to change the city of Callaway, no matter who's up here, to anything more intense than community commercial in that neighborhood. Does that answer the question?
Anybody have any questions for
They have
Mr.
any
Fry?
questions?
Yeah, well, community commercial, and what is of interest here, if it's boat storage or storage, I guess, is, is there any way to define that outside of, because, you know, when we did all this, we didn't know all the,
Right. And I wouldn't let it get past me to annex property into the city of Callaway without giving it a zoning designation
Right.
and a future land use. So we don't have to worry about that happening anymore. But I would think intent would come into effect when it states that this is boat storage. I think that it would also include vehicle storage, including RVs, recreational campers, et cetera. Anything that is, once again, probably a violation of their HOA regulations. Don't park it in the front yard, go ahead and park it in the boat storage, which would include RVs, et cetera.
But see, unfortunately, and this goes back into the problem of the HOA has no power over this property because it is outside outside of the development. Since they sold it to be outside the development. So the HOA, in many cases, we say you can't have two RVs in your yard, but in this particular case, they can.
Yeah. Well,
because, well, go ahead.
Well, the city of Callaway doesn't enforce HOA home covenants or anything like that, so
Right.
I'm not aware of what their HOA encompasses. I'm not sure where their limits are. I don't know whether it includes this property or not, but if it doesn't, then obviously they have no jurisdiction, but even if it does, I'm not sure what they have on the books.
Well, the only jurisdiction they would have that I can see is they could tell the property owners, you cannot park your boat here, you're going to have to park it in a designated area which this gentleman owns.
Or somewhere, that would be the most convenient.
Right.
Commissioner, it'd have to be in the covenants of the HOA. There's a document that controls the HOA.
Right.
It would have to be in there,
Yeah, yeah.
And the HOA would have to own the property.
which we have nothing to do with.
Right.
Code enforcement has nothing to do with that.
No, with the HOA, that's on them.
So the least that we can do is actually community commercial, and that would stop all the other concerns.
Repair shops.
Community commercial is also going to require buffering, and other conditions that will be addressed at the development order process.
Yeah, because he would be going into a development order. He's already, at least in his document, his information to us, committed to fencing and this type of thing, so.
Right.
Buffer.
Anybody else have any questions for Mr.
How
Fry?
big's the buffer? Is it 15 feet? Is that?
At least 5, no more than 8 feet tall.
I mean the
I'm going to
difference
suggest
from the edge of the property.
He said the buffer.
Buffer.
Just around the perimeter.
How much?
How many feet of buffer?
How many
do you-
feet?
I can't remember.
It's going to be anything between commercial and residentially zoned properties.
How many feet?
From the property line, I'm not sure.
Yeah, is it like a 10-foot
It could
buffer?
be right on the
12-foot?
property line. A fence could be,
Bay County's got like a 15-foot buffer, and I think we have a 4-foot.
Not the fence, he's talking about a buffer, like a landscape buffer, or what, I don't know.
No,
We put it, we'll have to look at it.
there's no required width or thickness of the buffer.
Okay, so you do, I guess you can do a fence, or you can do tree line or something. Okay.
Yeah, I would recommend white vinyl. That looks the best. It's very easy to maintain. Looks good.
Anyone else have anything for Mr. Fry? Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Okay, who wants to speak about, anybody that had question, you can come up and you can speak on this now. Ask your
Just a couple of things.
No, sir, I need you to get to the microphone, please, so that it records
I'm
for the
Matt
city
Fuller,
clerk.
11533 Poston Road. So for profit motive, we're going to disrupt 50, 60 homes, single-family dwellings. Now, the other thing, if this were to be allowed, who's going to police the hours of operation? They're gonna have forklifts, occasionally pick up stuff and all that, driving up. People's houses are right by this property. And to speculate for one person's profit motive, for all these residents that invested all their money in their homes, this is a bad idea. You've got a chance, you've got the power to rezone this property or not. And, you know, you look at one street there, I can't think of that spot zoning, and this was years ago. And orderly growth in a neighborhood is very important. And the people have invested their money, their hard-earned money, and this is it, for someone to have a profit motive to affect all of that. Also, with this zoning, put in a marijuana shop, you know that? They can put in a laundromat and 40-something other things. So, you have the authority not to rezone this property. Would appreciate it if you would not rezone it. Thank you.
Is that correct?
Mr. Fry?
Could you put in a marijuana shop
No, not in Callaway.
or a laundromat? I'm just curious if that would be allowed by the zoning.
A medical or dental clinic would be one of them. I don't see right off, let me make sure, where a pharmacy would be allowed. I mean, the closest thing to pharmacy would be medical or dental clinic. So whether a pharmacy would be allowed in that designation, you know, I believe that would be a little bit of a stretch.
Yeah.
But Florida law states anywhere we allow a pharmacy, we also have to allow a medical marijuana
Right.
dispensary.
It doesn't say
Because
pharmacy.
it's considered medicine. So
And how about
in
a
this
laundromat?
particular zoning there, I'm going to say no.
And how about laundromat?
A laundromat is one of the allowable uses.
Okay.
And there are several others listed on here that, like a delicatessen, beauty shop, book and magazine, gift shop, furniture store. These are things that would be allowed, but somebody want to put it in there and fail as a
Yeah,
business.
that's it. Who else wanted to? Ms. Langston?
Teresa Langston, 6031 Main Street. I just want to clarify that according to this, there could be a drugstore, including drive-through facilities unless provided elsewhere in this article. So yeah, there can be a drugstore, floral shop, food store, furniture store, gift shop, hardware store. So they can have a drugstore.
Okay, thank you. Yes, sir?
Martin Bosser, 6303 Wallace Road. Obviously I was one that came up here, petitioned for allowance to store my motorhome on my property. It would have been nice if there was somewhere to store it other than that without me having to go into a lot of debt. That's a side caveat to what I'm about to say. There's a lot of people up here talking about their investment of their house and that they bought a house in this area. And the same people that are saying that say that it's wrong for the gentleman that wants to have some antiques and boats stored there. They're saying that it's bad for him to want investment. So to me, if it's considering me, if I want an investment in my house, I'm not going to complain about somebody wanting an investment to make an area to store one of those items that I might add. It's kind of like a conflict of interest to say that you bought your house for money. Don't ever hire me for financial planning because I have no clue about money-wise stuff. But I'm just saying, from a standpoint of if you buy a house as an investment, which to almost everybody, the majority of your money is going to go into your house. I'm speaking from experience too. I'm not going to sit here and complain that somebody else wants to have their investment, that their property also stores boats and antique cars or something. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, sir. Who else? Yes, sir?
Lloyd Hildreth, 11923 Poston Road. The white plastic white buffer fence that we're talking about is not allowed under the homeowners association rules for all the houses surrounding two sides of this piece of property. Another thing, it says boat storage on this plat. Is that commercial boat storage, or is it individual boat storage? And the map I gave y'all shows it is not commercial. I don't think the intent here was to have a commercial boat storage lot. The intent was to give the East Bay community back 9, 10, 12 years ago a place to park their boats for free, which did not require commercial zoning. It was part of being in that community. That was to be common property for that community. It was not deemed commercial boat storage. That's where the whole confusion is here. We don't know the intent because it doesn't say the intent on this. What I gave y'all is the original plan, and it does not show it red commercial property on that plan. It shows red commercial property all over the East Bay community, but it's not shown, that particular lot is not shown in red. So y'all need to consider that when you put something commercial in the middle of over 150 residential homes. And like I said before, I don't mind the storage building for antique cars. That doesn't bother me at all. But down the road, Mr. Trails, about 3 years ago, built one of these buildings on his property, which didn't have siding on it for over 2 years, with car lifts in it. I know he's going to do a better building here, but what's going to happen to that property when he decides, he just built this one 3 years ago. What's going to happen 3 years from now when he leaves this? And we have who knows what going on to that property because y'all deemed it commercial. It was never intended to be commercial. And you can see that on that map that I gave y'all. Thank you all.
Yes, sir.
Kevin, when they sold it,
That's where the problem came
That
from.
changed
you know,
everything.
When they platted it,
right,
if the developer intended that, they would have dedicated boat storage to the HOA.
Right.
They didn't.
The only thing they
sold it.
dedicated to the HOA were the alleys. And
Even if they dedicated that to the HOA, it would have had to been zoned.
yeah, well,
What would the zoning have been?
no, it would have been owned by, when they dedicated, it would have been owned by the HOA.
It would have been owned by the
Should-
HOA.
It still had to be brought in as a designation.
no.
I mean,
no.
it always, that doesn't, it always should have been, it just wasn't. But like on the plat, you make dedications. So, the city took the roads, streets, and right-of-ways. The HOA took the alleys. And then they kind of split up the easements and the stormwater. But that and anything that's just undesignated was retained by the developer.
Had that particular spot been part of the HOA, and it would have been brought in, what would the zoning have had to have been?
It would have been part of the PD zoning, I'm sure. They would have,
Just part of the PD zoning? Okay.
but, whenever they did PD zoning, they carved it out, right? Because they reserved it to sell.
It'd be common, just like a park, the
Right, correct.
community.
But when they did the zoning, because they did come and zone most of the neighborhood as planned development. They just carved those parcels out. I can't read their minds, but probably just sell them off in the future.
But that's it, when they sold this, it
When they
wasn't part
sold
of the
it, they lost
HOA.
control over it.
That's right. Go ahead, sir.
Joshua Griffin, 1538 Primrose Lane. What merit does the plat hold that when it says boat storage? Can it be changed from boat storage?
The owner or owners would have to come do a plat with the city for a replat.
Okay.
So they'd have to go through the whole process of replatting the property. You'd have to get depends how much of it you want to replat. If there's several lots and that, then every owner that wants to be affected by it would have to apply and agree to a replat.
Okay. So if it's platted as boat storage, regardless of zoning, where does that take us into the zoning discussion?
well, that's kind of what we explained earlier, that it kind of ties our hands that we need to fit, right now it's undesignated, it should have never been undesignated, so we need to fit something in there that makes sense for boat storage. Now, as far as, once the city does that, they're kind of out of it. I think if something else goes in there other than boat storage, I think certainly a neighbor or a group of neighbors can come after that and say, whoa, guys, that was platted as boat storage, just like, oh, this was supposed to be a boat ramp, or this was supposed to be this, and they didn't do it. You see those lawsuits all the time, but
So I think
that doesn't do with the
that's
city.
where a lot of us are coming from, though, is what's next? What's the future beyond, future use? So the only way it can change from boat storage if it's petitioned to be replatted.
Replatted, right.
Right?
Right, yeah, so this guy can come here and say, I want this to be 30 more lots, and I'm gonna do a replat of boat storage, East Bay unit, phase 1A, and I'm gonna replat that into 40 lots. He could certainly come in and do that.
So what surety can we have that this stays boat storage? When you make your zoning decision, what surety can you give us that it stays boat
The
storage?
city can't give you surety about that. That'd be between whoever's upset about it and that owner.
Okay, so then how does it stay boat storage, though? Once you zone it commercial, what did you call it?
Community commercial.
Commercial.
That's
How do we make sure it stays boat
It's still
storage?
platted boat storage.
Yeah, but that'd be an argument that those people who think they're adversely affected would have against that owner, because they say, look, it's owned, now it's owned commercial, it's community commercial, so what was intended here is allowed. But if somebody wants to limit it to strictly boat storage and boat storage only, that'd be between those people and the owner of the boat storage place. It's a separate
Okay.
civil case, not with the city.
Yes, ma'am.
Hello, Christina Bear, 11725 Poston Road. I want to start off again, novice, so not fully aware, but I also think it's a little disingenuous that when you're asked to define what community commercial is, it was, well, it's sort of this and whatever, and it was dependent on the residents to state what is allowed and what it could become. And as the previous speaker said, I think that's our biggest concern. Okay, it was sold to you as, plat of boat storage. Okay, we have an issue with the seller, but they did, and that's what it is, and that's what you bought it as. Cool, we'll leave it as that. The individual is able to park their boat on that land, and we move forward. By rezoning it, allowing the opportunity of these other businesses to come in, yes, we can, what is the intent? But also, we were told an intent, and that's obviously not holding true. So what's to say that the intent now is just for storage, but it couldn't become one of those, a multitude of the other things that were stated in that community? I get it, it's not part of the HOA and everything, but my house, there's not even a sidewalk. I am right on that road, and as pointed out, what's to say someone else coming in, and who's maintaining, who's overseeing that, those people not in the community? We take care of our community. Yes, we have some issues that we can work out internally, but these people have no ties to us. They would come in, go out, and leave. Whether or not it's a community commercial and it's only residents, and then you, charge them, something to consider. But right now, we're having a conversation about rezoning, and you were saying, well, if we rezone it and we allow it, and down the road if someone has an issue, well, here is the meeting when we have an issue. To even get to that point, why would we allow it to go to that point to then have to come back and have discussion? You have 52 members of the community saying that we have an issue before it even gets to the point that we would have concerns and have to come back. Please listen to those concerns. I get it, it's an issue. It was bought as a plat of boats for boat storage. Cool, let the individual who bought it use it as their boat storage. To open it up further is not the intent. If we're trying to be fair, yeah, we're not on board with everything, and the individual bought it and it was sold, and I guess that's fair. Again, I don't know all those things, but that's the way you bought it. So treat it as that. Don't then try and change it into other things. So the intent, great, we can say what it is now. What's to say in a couple months or a couple years what it turns into? And then also, you mentioned if someone wants to do it and possibly fail, well, I don't want to have to go through months of construction, they fail, what does the building turn into? I don't want to have to go through that. Let's stop it now and not move forward. Thank you.
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
No, go ahead.
Joel Smith, 6422 Cherry Street. Interesting point here for me is that this property was on the market for, I didn't catch all the numbers, maybe 3 years. The community could have purchased this property and identified its use for them to use their boat parking, amenities, or whatever. However, it seems like they were cavalier about this, and now that open real estate market has allowed an owner to buy it with the platted intent to sell that storage service, he doesn't really have a choice on any other zoning. And he's choosing the optimum zoning for the use. So, I don't know, it's interesting to me.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
I hate repeat appearances. William Troop, 11733 Poston Road. Again, we talk about limiting to what the intent is. You know, we're going to go with what the intent is. The intent was boat storage. So again, I'm no zoning expert, but tell me how an automotive repair facility or automotive storage facility that could wind up selling batteries, tires, and all these other things, which is a whole environmental and public safety nightmare, comports with boat storage. If you're going to make it boat storage, limit it to boat storage. Do not put a commercial automotive facility on the plat, okay? That is not boat storage. And also, what are we going to do about like limiting of hours of traffic? What are we going to do about, like, is there going to be lighting in this complex that's going to interfere with, we like the night sky, you know, we like it, you know, so we can see the stars and everything. Is the place going to be lit up like a parking lot? Again, my neighbor, she made a great point. What's going to happen down the road if it changes? Are we going to have like other types of occupancies in there? And there's 40 different ones. I mean, you know, I don't know if that's going to happen or not. And with regards to buying it, a lot of our residents are junior enlisted military people that don't have a lot of disposable income. And I don't know a lot of people in our neighborhood that can come up with $150,000 to buy a commercial property. Again, sorry, I mean, that's just the way it is. So our concern is simply that is we bought this house to be in a residential community, not a commercial development. We don't want to live next to essentially a place that's going to be a commercial property with the inherent traffic, public safety, environmental, and other concerns. And what's going to happen at 5 o'clock? When people pick up their boats? 5 o'clock in the morning. The neighbors are very close to that facility. They're going to be hearing people firing up their bilge pumps, firing off the generators, pulling out the trucks. And you all know, while you've been out here, getting into our development is a nightmare. And you're putting boat trailers in there, you're putting a public safety hazard out there, you've got kids walking to school. That is a tight fit when you're driving all those like trucks with trailers on there. I just ask you again, if you want to limit the boat storage by the letter of the law, you may have no choice in that, but where does an automotive repair facility and storage facility come into a boat storage? It just doesn't make sense to me. It's, you know, a boat storage. And what are you going to do to limit hours? What are you going to do to help with the traffic? What are you going to do with regards to widening the roads so that people can get in there? That's a tight fit. That's a tight turn to get into that facility. Are we going to have to expand the road there? Again, there's a lot more questions than answers, so I implore you, again, based on the behalf of the residents, protect our property interests, protect our safety, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Yes, sir.
Seems like we're getting a lot of embellishing on vehicles and traffic going through there, you know, maintenance activities, fires, and all that happening. Once again, I checked with the local boat storage place, have over 100-some spots. They average about 2 vehicles a week coming in and picking up the boat. There's not forklifts out there, not no maintenance going on boats. You know, as far as the storage facility, you know, I got a couple old vehicles, I pull in, I wash them, and I like keeping my helmets, like protect them. You know, what could happen later down the road as far as commercial, Nobody knows. I can't predict what's gonna happen 20, 30 years down the road. You know, some of the folks that we're talking, they live in a commercial location. What's gonna happen there, you know? They could very well sell it, and it could be a drugstore or a marijuana shop or something there, right on the corner of the main road, you know? So I'm not looking at what's happening. I'm trying to get zoned for what I need now, you know, for my personal vehicles, and I did spend a little money for a lot. I would like to recoup some of the cost of boat storage. I've done due diligence or research, hoping, you know, that that's what would happen. You know, as far as the investment of community, everybody's house prices and all, I got a vested interest in it. I own a couple of properties out there. So I want to keep our community property values up high as well as everybody else. I think boat storage is a good opportunity for the community. There's definitely a need. You know, you drive around the neighborhood and you see boats stored up driveways and people can't get their garages and all. And that's fine, but you know, I think if we have a place close by, people would actually use it, and it's a good benefit for them. So, you know, like I say, it's a lot of embellishing stuff going on as far as fire hazards, you know, a big automotive, you know, repair shop, a Firestone. That's not the case. I bought the property, it's undesignated zoning, I'm just trying to get a zoning for what I can use it for. You know, it's as simple as that. So, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Not seeing anybody, it is back to us, gentlemen. So is there any more discussion, or would somebody like to make a motion?
Motion to approve ordinance number 1125, rezoning of 1023 Primrose Street, parcel ID 073842777-000, first reading.
Do we have a second?
Second for community commercial.
Yeah, that's,
It's in the ordinance. That's in the ordinance.
yes, that's in the ordinance, so that is the motion, okay? So we do have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion, gentlemen? If not, City Clerk?
Commissioner Pelletier?
No.
Commissioner Ayers?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Griggs?
Yes.
Mayor Henderson?
Yes. This will come up at our meeting in 2 weeks for the second reading. Okay, we will go on to item number 3, resolution number 2523, annual meetings and holidays for 2026.
This is
Oh, I'm sorry.
all right,
go ahead.
Resolution 25-23. A resolution to adopt a meeting schedule for the regular meetings, workshops, and holidays of the City of Callaway Board of City Commissioners for the calendar year 2026, repealing all resolutions in conflict herewith and reciting an effective date.
Hey, City Clerk, do you want to take this one?
Ordinance 927 requires an adoption of a resolution reflecting the dates and times of all regular city meetings and city holidays. I know typically we only hold one meeting in November and December, but 2 meetings are both listed on there for y'all to decide if y'all want to do 1 or 2.
I thought you emailed us. Nobody answered the email?
This is for next year. This is
Oh, for
next year.
Yeah, this is for next year.
I guess I should have read the email.
You can always
I was looking at this year.
You can amend it.
This was actually something I asked, I said, why are we already doing it next year? Why don't we do it
Right,
in
that's what I'm
December?
saying.
Yeah, we always do the next calendar year, not,
Yeah, it's like we're so,
No, we don't do it by
to
fiscal
discuss
year.
it.
Right.
It's really confusing, so.
Then,
But yeah, we usually wait till November and December and decide, no, we're
We always do.
only going to have one meeting this month.
Now, this year
I
was
used
a
to
little
not let y'all-
different just
I
because
used to
of,
not let y'all get away with that, because I was needing meetings all the time, and after that hurricane, we gotta meet.
Yeah, but not as much now.
obviously, we're not gonna meet on the 24th, correct?
well, that's what, we always put both weeks on there, so you guys, if
I have no
if you don't
problem
want it, we
with
can go
that.
ahead and
Remove them
cancel it.
now. I think we're fine, if you wanna go
Well,
ahead and
this is
remove.
2026.
I'm talking about for next year.
Yeah, okay.
I'm okay if you wanna remove them now.
So in 2026, do we want to just go ahead and say 1 meeting in November and 1 meeting in December and remove
We've
it
been doing
now?
that for 10 years now.
So
If
let's-
we need one, we'll call a special one.
That's
As
correct.
opposed to waiting
Right.
and coming.
So we're going to get rid of November 24th and December 22nd.
Right.
Do y'all wanna go ahead and make a decision on this year too, after we get done with this?
You haven't done that yet?
We hadn't done it yet.
Well, can we do it without an agenda item? Okay, well, let's go ahead and do
Yeah,
this
we'll
one
do this
first.
and then we'll cover.
We're good, gentlemen? Did anybody in the audience want to comment on our meeting schedule?
Is there any other weirdness for next year?
I don't think so.
No.
Yeah, you can bring it up.
Okay.
What?
Doesn't matter.
Well, I've Xed out the 22nd of December, which is,
Yeah,
I've Xed that out.
yeah,
Is that
we
November
crossed,
24th too?
yeah, the November 24th and December 22nd.
I've Xed,
Now, when will election day will be, what will be election day? That probably needs to be on here, because we'll have an
November
election in
6th.
November.
I believe, let me.
Probably the
Date real
3rd
quick.
by November, because it's usually on
Tuesday
Tuesday.
the 3rd, it's election day.
So the 10th will be the following week.
Fine, we'll be a week later.
So we'll be fine, it's a week later.
Okay, good.
Yeah,
Okay.
you
So
might-
nobody in the audience wanted to comment on this item, so would somebody like to make a motion to the effect of,
Motion to approve resolution number 2523, annual meetings and holidays for 2026 as amended.
you have a second?
Second.
Okay.
I was thinking Bob may go in and at least second it.
No, Bob's not saying anything.
He's on his calendar.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second, so we do need a roll call, don't we, because it's a resolution. So city clerk?
Commissioner Ayers,
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Griggs,
Yes,
Commissioner Pelletier,
Yes.
Mayor Henderson.
Yes.
got a yes out of it.
Can we do that now, or should we wait till the end of it?
You can do it at any point.
Do we want to go ahead and address this year's November and
I think we
December
should on
meetings?
that subject.
Now, November, y'all had decided at last year's meeting when we did this to
Right.
have it on the 18th.
Right.
Because the second Tuesday is on.
Okay,
Right.
so we're already having
Veterans Day.
one meeting, we've already set
Correct,
one
that
meeting,
was-
about December.
No, we did not speak on December.
So we've got two meetings showing in December. So do we
Correct.
want to eliminate the second meeting in December?
What are the dates in December?
That is December 23rd.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
eliminate the 23rd.
So would somebody like to make a motion to amend our current year?
You have to have it, does it have to be voted on that way? It's just, you're just voting to cancel it.
Do we need
I
to
mean,
make
We
a
don't need a
motion?
vote on it, do we?
What should we?
Oh, yeah, you know,
We can bring it up next
You don't have,
meeting.
no, you don't have to vote
you
it.
can just
Don't have
email
to
city
vote on
members
it.
that cancel it, you can cancel a meeting.
Okay,
Yeah, we
so
can
just
cancel without a
cancel.
motion.
Okay,
We
we
can
don't
just
need a
cancel it.
motion.
We've already by email, at least in November, just agreed to one, which is the 18th.
Yeah, so we're good. And we'll just
Yeah,
agree,
just cancel the 23rd.
we're canceling the second one in December.
Okay.
Okay, we will go on then to item number 4, resolution number 25-24, code enforcement liens for nuisance abatement.
Okay. Resolution 25-24, a resolution of the City of Callaway, Florida, approving amounts to be liened on certain properties within the city, to wit 306 South Gay Avenue, for costs incurred in the abatement of nuisances upon such properties, authorizing the appropriate officers of the city to record lien and notify interested parties of such lien, and providing an immediately effective date.
Okay, city manager?
Yeah, we're just leaning a property that we had to clean up. It's a mowing issue.
Small, 184.
And there is not an occupant and there's no heirs. So we're just making sure we keep it abated.
Okay. Okay, anybody have any question or comment?
No.
Anybody in the audience want to comment on the lien for nuisance abatement? Not seeing anybody. Someone like to make a motion?
Are you looking at me?
Somebody, well, I'm just looking at anybody, nobody's saying anything.
Motion to approve resolution 2524.
I was about to say, come on, Bob, you all over lean. You're the lean king over there, right? I can always count on that.
Okay, so we do have a motion and a second. Is there any other discussion? If not, city clerk?
Commissioner Griggs,
Yes,
Commissioner Pelletier.
Yes.
Commissioner Ayers.
Yes, ma'am.
Mayor Henderson.
Yes. Okay, item number 5. Development order application, renovation, construction of water spigot, 5806 Highway 22, Callaway, Florida.
Mr. Fry.
All right, so the next two items are good things, well within their zoning designations. The water spigot is a very unique laboratory-type situation on Highway 22. Not only do we use them to make sure that our potable water is drinkable and safe on a very regular basis, but so do a lot of other municipalities and water source providers in the area. Ms. Patricia came to me and said she would love to do some remodeling and renovations and all, and I said, well, unfortunately, we also have to bring you up to today's code. So she saved up some money and hired Mr. Ron Rogers over here to put her some engineering together. They got stormwater in place, which they had none of before, better access. Ron did check with FDOT to make sure that everything they're going to do doesn't affect the four laning that will eventually come. Landscaping out in front, it's going to look nice.
Good.
If you have any questions, Ron or I would answer them best we can.
Anybody have questions?
They're already there.
Yeah,
Same
improvements.
Yeah, this will just be,
Making it better.
make it nicer.
Just improve it.
Did anybody in the audience want to comment on the renovation and reconstruction of water spigot? Since you're here, did you want to say anything? I'm not saying you have to. If you would like to, I want to give you the opportunity.
No, ma'am.
Okay? And I don't see anybody else that wants to speak either, so it's back to us. Would someone like to make a motion?
Motion to approve development order DO application, renovation / construction of water spigot, 5806 Highway 22, Callaway, Florida.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. We'll go on to item number 6, development order application, Main Street Urgent Care, 532 North Kendall Parkway.
Mr. Fry.
All right, so an urgent care, which some believe we are in need of in the Callaway area, is on the end of the Mexican restaurant right there. It's San Marcos. Right now, currently, where the building will be going, it is a parking lot. And they're going, so no new impervious surface. The storm water is shared with the Mexican restaurant. It's all one big parcel, kind of goes into the back. There's also additional parkings, overspill back there. Mr. Scott Rutherford adheres tonight to represent as the engineer of record. He did address cross-parcel access, which is kind of already there. Landscaping out in front of it, which is required by our overlay. It is in our overlay district. Like I said, the storm water is shared with the Mexican restaurant. They're actually decreasing the amount of impervious surface by just a touch, because like I said, right now it's all parking lot. There's no stormwater issues there in the past. Don't anticipate any being in the future. It'll be a nice addition to Callaway.
Anybody have any question or comment?
Actually, I've got maybe an interesting comment on it. The planning board approved this, but it wasn't unanimous.
Right.
And I have a little difficulty understanding this is kind of the, this is a no-brainer type of situation.
Yes, sir.
What was the objection to us approving this, of them approving it?
There was no explanation as to why there was a vote for denial.
Right.
I didn't even realize that there was one until after the meeting. And I was asked, how come it wasn't unanimous? And I'm like, it wasn't? Because like you said, it was kind of a no-brainer. I was surprised that it wasn't unanimous, so I'm not sure.
I just, that's just surprising. And it's really concerning, because this is, why would somebody not want this type of thing there? And that's concerning that, because we depend on the planning board. Now, it doesn't have to be unanimous in all this situation all the time, and I fully understand it. I mean, how many years was I on the planning board and vice chair and all that, but some of the ones that actually approved, like this one, approved coming to us, there is a dissenting vote, and I was just wondering if we could get, when these come up, if we could get the other side of it, the other point of view, because it may make a difference on ours. I mean, what we had to do today on the first couple of items today, the planning board has actually voted
Against it, yeah.
to not approve it and all that business. Well, we know all the reasons why we had to approve it. And of course, we weren't unanimous, so we wanted to make sure we had that no vote in there. But I'd like to know, more from the planning board when they have somebody that's dissenting or somebody that's approving against a dissent, maybe something that we should really consider, give a lot of weight to. So that's the reason I was bringing this up.
Yeah.
Everybody's tippy-toeing around. I'd suggest ask that question before this meeting.
Well,
you might get a better answer.
No, bring it up, because we've actually had people on the planning board that, acted like they were the God's gift to engineering and knew more than all our engineers.
We have.
And we don't need that type of situation. We need good advice. We need good advice coming back to us. Those are our citizens that are coming back to us. So.
Well, Commissioner, this is not the first time the planning board's approved stuff that we disagreed with.
That is true.
At the end of the day, the buck stops up here on this diocese.
No.
And, I don't know, I would hate to put a planning board member in a position where you gotta explain your no vote. I don't need to explain my no vote to no one, and I don't think they should have to explain their no vote to anybody else. That's the way they're looking at it. It's up to us to do our homework before it comes to us. I understand we rely on the planning board, but they're there to feather it up. But at the end of the day, all of us are gonna go look, all of us are gonna look at it. I have a couple of questions on this project, and I think it's a great thing, I agree. But Bill, when St. Marcos owns this property?
No, it's owned by, I believe it's an acronym.
Okay.
It's on the deed.
SCR?
And when you say parking lot, that's the pave area as you go into San Marcos? Is that what you're talking about?
Yes.
So.
It's going to be kind of front and back.
Right.
And then there's an overspill even further back than that.
I was there today, I was looking at it.
There's a little personnel bridge.
Right.
In order to get them back there.
Yeah. We want it, urgent care, I'm just asking the question.
Yes.
What is that going to do to St. Marcos parking?
Nothing.
They're not have sufficient parking?
Right. They're not stealing parking spots from the restaurant.
Right.
They're adding additional parking. The parking calculations work.
Right, it did.
Especially with the overflow.
Right, okay.
St. Marcos, I believe they require their employees to park back there to begin with.
Okay.
Like they should. And in the overlay district, it is encouraged and actually required for shared parking. So if for some reason somebody parks over in front of the restaurant and walks to the urgent care, it is not going to be a violation. Vice versa either. They're in the overlay, shared parking is required. And it's all one property owner also.
Right.
One investment.
No, we need urgent care at Cali.
Yes, sir.
Just in West Valley. I was just curious because I went out there and all I could see a slab.
Yeah.
And so they're meeting their parking requirements.
Correct.
Okay.
Anybody else have anything for Mr. Fry? Commissioner Briggs, you good?
Good.
Okay. Did anybody in the audience want to comment on the development order for the urgent care? Not seeing anybody. Would someone like to make a motion?
Make a motion to approve the development order for the Main Street Urgent Care at 532 North Tyndall Parkway.
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. If there's no further discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, item number 7, change order, FlexNet change order, Ice Bridge. City manager.
All right, if none of y'all know what an ice bridge is, I'm now an expert. More than happy to let you know all about it. So we've been working with the SBA Tower Company to get the base station up for the FlexNet system, which is actually going to be installed this week, I believe. Our contract with Census does not require them to work with the tower company, and so we've had to handle it internally. SBA has through a requirement that they want an ice bridge be installed to connect the base station to the tower itself. So we are unable to proceed with the installation without this ice bridge. Basically, you can't put the wire in the ground, you've got to hang it on something, and they call them an ice bridge. Don't ask me why it's called an ice bridge. If somebody else out there knows better, I had to look it up and do a ton of research, but we have to have this ice bridge installed.
$16,500. Hang the wire?
And let me go ahead and tell you something, that was cheap compared to what I found online.
Okay.
We almost thought it was going to be anywhere from $25,000 to $27,000. Fortunately, the installer said it's not a big deal, he can do it. We just need to.
Good.
They have to procure it, I can't procure it.
So is this year's budget or next year's budget?
You're in next year.
Yeah.
Next year. This year's done.
That's right. This year is next year.
That's right.
We're in October now.
So we can pull this from a multitude of places that we'll look at. Of course, it can come from, it actually can come from water and sewer, and it can come from the half cent. We'll fit it in the best place possible.
So they didn't identify this as we were going through all this planning in the last 2 years?
No.
So this all came up out of the clear blue sky, that we gotta do this?
I can confirm that because I'm the one that drew the engineering plans up. It was thrown at me at the last minute.
I was
Signed by
have a
SBA.
choice in this matter, because...
So we do not have a choice now.
I understand that, but I just hate the idea that, again, we've been planning this for years, and now all of a sudden, we're getting ready to install, and this is thrown on us.
We had everything laid out and submitted to SBA, because SBA came back and said, look, we're going to have a defined layout. And I worked with them on placement, because we have to hand dig the power lines, they have to be hand dug to put in the line. SBA is actually, I'm not going to say they're difficult, I'm going to say they're extremely thorough. And their head engineering guy came back and he said, this works great, but you're going to have an ice bridge. And my question was, what's an ice bridge?
How far is this ice bridge?
20 feet.
20 feet.
20 feet?
12 inches across, 20 foot long, hang's going to go 4 poles will be installed.
12 inches?
12 inches across.
For $16,000.
If I could build it, I would build it myself, but unfortunately, it has to be a certified ice
That would be
bridge.
had in my book.
I was amazed when I went through and looked at everything. Either way, this came down, and I'm sitting in a position where I can't do anything.
Well, I understand we have to do it, but the contractor that we're buying the system from was not aware of this till...
Their contract does not make them dealing with the contractors inside of the fence. All of their permissions actually have to come from the city. That's including the construction days, the inspections, even the code to get into the gate. And then SBA will come out and inspect.
It's too far to stop it now.
I will tell you the base station at Sandy Creek is up and it is operational. When we do our next...
Working right?
Mm-hmm. When we do our next drive-by, we've reprogrammed the drive-by system so that when it's getting the reads in all the meters out there. It will be flipping the switches so that it'll read both ways. And then that will then in turn, we started the reprogramming of all the meters to switch over to where it can do the drive-by read or the tower read.
Are we gonna be doing both? Mobile? Is that what you're saying?
We'll have to make one pass.
All the time?
No, just once. We have to reprogram every meter
I
in the city.
understand that, yeah.
And so we'll do that by driving by one time.
Okay.
We don't even technically have to.
There'll be no drive-by after that?
We can do that. No, there'll be no more drive-by.
Okay.
No, we'll probably drive by the city 4 or 5 times before we but we'll do it. We will be driving by just to make sure everything's programmed over.
Okay.
And our first data is already starting to come in from out there. They're tailoring the files so we can do a complete switch over before long.
Anybody have anything else up here about the ice bridge?
Trust me, it killed me to have to come in here and ask you for it.
Did anybody in the audience want to comment on the ice bridge?
Everybody's Googling ice bridge right now.
Yeah.
I know you are. You're Googling ice bridge right now.
Okay, if nobody wants to speak, would somebody up here like to make a motion?
Bull.
Motion to approve FlexNet change order ice bridge.
You have a second?
Second.
Okay, we've got a motion and a
That's two.
Huh? That's two.
Yeah, he's second too.
Okay, we've got a motion and a second. If there's no more discussion, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Now we come to our last item, Commissioner Ward 1 vacancy. And I know we talked about each of us asking like up to 2 questions with the permission of the commission, and if you don't want to do this, I was thinking we can take the people alphabetically, so we have an order. Maybe let each person have 2 or 3 minutes to say why they would be the best candidate for the position, and then we go to our questions. Each person can ask up to 2 questions. Is that agreeable to
Sounds good.
everybody?
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so our first candidate is Mr. Bobby Birdsell. Mr. Birdsell, if you will come up and tell us why you think you're the best person for the position.
Good evening, ma'am, gentlemen. Bobby Birdsell. I do live at 6221 Imperial Drive. I've been involved in the community, retired military, moved here in 2015. I've been involved ever since. The Callaway community, Solomon had the resume I submitted, so I won't bore you with all the details over and over again. One of the reasons I think I would be the best candidate is I am young still, and no offense to any of the other candidates, but the problems that you had from 2006, that commission is gone now, so I would be someone that would still be allowed, or that would still be around the commission in, 20 years to still look back and say, hey, I had a decision of that, it's my fault, I can take the blame for whatever that problem might be. Again, I have been involved completely in the community. I work as a paramedic part-time with the county. I mostly, when I pick up whatever stations I want. I'm normally at the Callaway station, still serving our community as opposed to all the other places. Again, they do make me go to those places, but I do prefer to stay in the Callaway district whenever I can. Mayor Henderson might have seen me occasionally. I like to run. I run around our community all the time. I'm training for marathon. I'm the guy without a shirt all the time running around. But I am here for the long haul. My kid goes to Rutherford, the others are in Callaway, my other 2 are adults doing whatever it is that adult children do nowadays. I am here, I'm very committed, and I just want to make a better difference. I like seeing the improvements that we already have going on. We're fixing roads, we're putting up street lights, we are repairing the old downtown park, not downtown, but the desolated parks, things like that. And I just want to be a part of that to continue seeing Callaway grow, especially with the way Tyndall is building, and within the next, 5 to 10 years, we're going to have so many residents, and I just want to have a connection with that.
Okay, thank you. Now we'll let Commissioner Griggs, you want to go ahead and ask your question or questions?
You get 2 questions.
Sure, you can have 2 questions.
3 minutes each.
Okay,
That's a joke. You'll get,
I actually have first question is going to be a combination question, because I'm going to ask you two things within that combination. Have you read the goals of our city? And second part of that, have you read our charter, and do you have general understanding of what your responsibilities would be?
I cannot say that I've actually read them, no, sir.
Anything else, Commissioner?
You indicated longevity, so you, I would imagine that what you mean is that even if you are appointed, that you will run for office? You will run for the office?
Yes, sir, when the time comes next year, yes, sir. Whether y'all select me or not tonight, my goal was to campaign and run for it next year regardless.
Okay.
That's it.
That's all I've got.
Commissioner Pelletier?
Won't be tricky. No trick questions. Okay, based on your understanding of city government, what do you see as a top priority for our city and why?
For me, it's going to be improvements that we're already working on, but a better emphasis on the infrastructure, widening of the roads, safety with lighting, working better with the county to get better emergency services located here, not against the fire department, but like our better EMS, based more in Callaway specifically. And it's mostly a safety thing. Again, like I said, I'm running all the time. I run down these roads, our sidewalks are busted, there's no street lights on some of the roads, and it just becomes a hazard. I've worked a lot of incidents up and down the roads, and I would just like to see a lot more safety going into our community.
Okay. I have 6 or 7 questions, so I gotta tone it down.
Figured you best.
Yeah. What motivated you to apply for this position, and is there something specific you hope to accomplish during your time?
I wanted to run for a position like this for numerous years, but being active duty, I was not able to hold such a position. And when the position came open recently, I retired back in '23, so the position finally came open. And I wanted to just give back to my community and be completely involved with Callaway instead of just some generic other thing. I do a lot of volunteer and other things, but this is very centric to our community and helping it grow.
All right.
Go ahead.
Hi, Mr. Birdsall. How you doing?
Yes, sir.
I looked over your resume. It's really thorough. Your education, you have a BA in organizational management?
Yes, sir. Actually, that will confer in December.
Okay. And that's from the University of Arizona?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And you're also in EMS?
Yes, sir.
And you went through Gulf Coast
I did.
State College? Great. You also avionics system tech?
Retired, but yes, sir.
Yeah, all those things are, require high intelligence and a lot of dedication, and I really appreciate your service to our country and the things you've done. You're a licensed pilot with instructor certification?
No, sir. I'm working on my commercial at this time.
Okay, but are you a pilot?
Yes, sir.
Okay, cool. And do you work for Bay County EMS?
Yes, sir. I'm a part-time paramedic with the county.
Okay, cool.
Mayor, I don't want to cut the commissioner off, but there's 2 questions. He's on 4 right now.
Okay, sorry about that.
Well, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Okay, I didn't realize there was questions. It's got.
Realize we've read all that, so we have all that information,
Yeah.
so.
Well, you're not the only ones. We have an audience out there, and we're on the internet, so it's nice to maybe recap some of that.
But that's, yes, you're correct, thank you.
Right.
All good.
I really don't have questions. Let me have 2 of yours. I will ask 2 of your questions. Do you have some that you prefer?
I typed it.
Okay. Members of the commission are frequently criticized in a very public way. If you are the subject of public criticism, how would you respond?
I don't let a lot of things bother me, ma'am. I've tried to put myself in a position so I'm not criticized. If I do get criticized for something, I would plan on owning whatever my mistakes are and not try to hide from whatever that may be.
Yeah, well, we can promise you will be criticized. At some point, you will be criticized. It goes with the position.
Especially when you run for office.
Yes.
I'm not being a city manager, so somebody will be upset.
You saw that tonight.
Yes.
And how would you ensure that the needs of all citizens, including different neighborhoods and demographic groups, are represented?
Even going back to Commissioner Griggs, like campaigning is not just something I do in my own little tiny ward. That's go out, meet, greet, talk to all the different people throughout the entire community of Callaway and find out what their actual needs are, being able to bring it before the rest of the commission and the city to actually hear what their needs are, not just my one little sect of whatever's going on.
Okay, I think we're good. We good? Okay, thank you so much. I'll let you have a seat and we'll get our next candidate up. That would be Ms. Karen Custer. I'm not sure I want to after that. You want to just go ahead and take a couple of minutes and tell us why you think you're the best person for the position?
Well, I'd rather not say why I think I'm the best person. I wouldn't mind saying why I think I'm a good person to select for the job, if you don't mind.
Okay, however you want to respond.
If I could tell you a little bit about myself, I grew up with a father who was a Marine, and so he acted like we were little Marine kids. So that's how I started out. He was an Ayn Rand fan, and he trained us to be like the independent man. But then my mom was a cheerleader and a secretary, so she wanted me to go to finishing school and marry a rich man to take care of me. And instead of doing that, I graduated from engineering school so I could take care of myself. That way they were both satisfied. I met my husband about 20 years ago, and we were married. We lived in Alaska for 18 years since we've been married until we moved here. We got tired of having bosses, so we became realtors and general contractors. So instead of working 40 hours a week, we worked 70 hours a week. But we worked for ourselves. And then we finally burned out, sold everything, and moved to Panama City because it doesn't snow here until this year. A reason why I'm interested in serving on the commission is I've been coming to commission meetings for over 3 years now. I met you, Mayor Henderson, first on October 1st, 3 years ago at a dedication of a Habitat House. And the first time I actually talked to you was at Region Banks on 23rd Street when they had a grand opening. I've seen you at the Senior Center when I bring copies of Bay County Coastal newspaper, which I do, just for the community. I saw you at lots of lunch meetings at Rodeos and Gary's Oyster Shack. That's where I first met Eddie Cook, was at one of the lunch meetings at Gary's Oyster Shack during the election when Commissioner Pelletier and Commissioner Ayers were running for re-election. I came to commission meetings. I talked to our city manager about needing some pothole repairs, which were done right away, to help with the cock-a-doodle-doo problem at 5:30 in the morning, which that got taken care of pretty quick. And I've been to meetings when we talked about speed bumps, boats in the front yards, the budgets, taking care of the outbuilding at Tyndall and Cherry, buying land. I've been involved, I feel like I've been involved with the commission for 3 years. I've been lots of the places where you've been. I've been also, when you were at Historical Society, Commissioner Griggs was there, Commissioner Ayers was there. He shared garden delights with us at one of those from his own garden. I've seen Commissioner Ayers at First Friday.
Commissioner Pelletier and the mayor at NAACP meetings, and Commissioner Pelletier at lectures around town. So that's kind of a bit about me and my background, how I feel like I've already been involved with a lot of the things that you do, and I understand what goes on in the commission meetings because I've been to a lot of them. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Graves.
Well, to be consistent, I have to ask the same,
Wow.
same question. And, but I think, I'm going to ask it a slightly different way, because the goals that we're required, or should be required, to work toward as a commissioner, and here again, they're posted, and we've agreed to them, and they're all out there. Apparently, not everybody has read those goals. So before I ask the question, I'm going to read you the goals, and there are only three that encompass what our responsibilities
promote
are.
economic development and education, quality municipal service, ensure public safety, improve the quality of life.
Right.
Okay. So, I'm sorry, I said them for you. I did read them.
Okay. Well, I'm going to go ahead and read them so everybody knows what we're talking about. The mission of the government of the city of Callaway is to meet the demands of growth and development by promoting economic development, education, while providing service at an affordable cost. Second item is partner with community for safety and security. And the last one is to serve its citizens by providing a quality of life for its residents and visitors that is attractive and inviting. And if we believe in those goals as commissioners, it takes away a lot of the personal side that we may have. And I'm bringing that up that way because we've had people that say, well, I just don't want any more people in here, but I want a restaurant, that kind of thing. Well, you've got to look at these goals and not what your personal opinions may be or what your personal directives may be. There's one issue as it relates to you personally. And so my second question would be, you're just totally involved with so many organizations, including, as you put in there, and you're about to smile because the next one I'll be bringing up is the John Birch Society and some of the other ones that you've chosen to join. It's not a matter of visitation, understanding religions and that kind of thing. As a commissioner, many of those things have to be set aside. You have to make decisions in guidance with the goals and the charter. So my question to you is, do you think you can set aside some of those concepts that are in the organizations that you belong to?
One way to answer that is I've been involved in a lot of things, and so I have actually a lot of different points of view from lots of different people. So yes, you mentioned John Birch Society. They're really pro-Constitution. And so keeping in mind that things need to be constitutional, I don't, that doesn't conflict with anything. You wouldn't do anything that's unconstitutional or illegal. And the same thing, I'm involved in the Republican Liberty Caucus. but we invite members from all political parties so that, it's not like I also have interviewed people from all the parties and have invited them to join that group. I've been to lots of League of Women Voters meetings, and I don't agree with their point of view on a lot of things, but I go anyway because I want to know their point of view. And all those things feed into me and give me, a different way to evaluate things just based on what they are. Does that kind of answer your question?
Yes, it does.
Okay.
And thank you for that.
You're welcome. Okay.
I'm going to ask the identical same questions. Obviously, you know what's going on in our city, because you've been to all of our meetings. So, so what do you see as our top priorities in our city, and why? What would be your top priorities on sitting up here in the diocese?
The thing that I guess I'm really interested in is I've heard so many things from citizens in the community that, criticisms, complaints, things like that. And I've been to some of their meetings just as a citizen, listening to what they have to say. And I don't really get involved in the discussions because I just go here and take in information and see if I can help people. And I think I would want to continue to help the citizens of Callaway any way that I can. We've been guardians ad litem, mentors, just involved in lots of things with the goal of if I see something, I try to fix it. And so I would still like to be someone that people can talk to and to see if I can do anything to help improve, and with the input coming from the community.
I already know what motivated you. I guess I'll ask the same question. Obviously, we know what motivates you, but what are some specifics you hope to accomplish during your time in office? Knowing, of course, you have about 11 months before you start, 10 months before you, well, maybe 7 months before you start your campaign if you're going to rerun for office. And as we all know up here, since we changed the voting dates, a $2,000 campaign now is going to be about $17,000. So things are going to be changing. But what do you expect to accomplish at least within that 1 year?
I don't have specific agenda that I want to accomplish. I didn't expect to be, going into a position as a commissioner, so I don't have something in particular I want to do. I do want to listen to the community. I want to learn a lot from you because you've actually sat in those chairs, and then make the best decisions I can on the things that come up in our agenda, rather than just accomplish specific things.
Thank you.
Okay.
You have a BS in chemical engineering?
That's correct.
From University of Tulsa. What does an oil process engineer do?
A what?
It says you were an oil process engineer. Was that correct?
No, I'm a process engineer. I worked in the oil industry, the chemical industry, oil fields.
What does that do?
I designed refineries and chemical plants, designed equipment, designed the process, modeled the process, checked everything to make sure it was safe, filled out data sheets so that our instrument people could buy instrumentation and all of that.
Have leadership positions?
Yes, I was a principal engineer in a $4 billion company.
Okay, cool. And it says you're a realtor in Alaska. Are you from Alaska?
No, actually I'm from Philadelphia, but I met my husband. I went to work in Alaska at one of the refineries, and we were married there, and that's how I ended up in Alaska.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. I have basically one question, and I mean, we're in social media days, and people do things, and it's out there in the open. I know a few months back there were some issues, and you actually were part of a committee that was looking to recall one of the sitting commissioners. Would you have an issue, since that didn't happen and that commissioner is still a sitting commissioner, would you be able to work with that commissioner? You know, would there be any issues with you working with that commissioner that you were hoping to have recalled?
Well, if I could take a step back, I wasn't actually part of committee. I went to the meetings to try to see what advice they needed, to see if they needed help. But I mean, I did go to the meetings. I guess it looked like I was part of the committee.
Well, and I had been
Right.
told that you were the one kind of putting it together.
Okay. I do not have a problem with Commissioner Ayers.
Okay.
The things that I stated at a commission meeting, I said what needed to be said. I was hoping that at that point, Commissioner Ayers would understand what people thought, and that he would, he'd be okay in the future, that those things, all those things that different people said, about him, or he said, or whatever, all that stuff, I wasn't involved in that stuff, but that maybe they could stop what they did and he could stop responding to them. I was really just trying to help by naming the problem, and that way the other people felt like somebody named it, they could come forward, they could say what they had to say, and then possibly it could stop. So, I could work with him. I saw him at lots of things around town. I talked to him. I saw him at the Trump dinner. I don't think we'd have...
Republican Party dinner.
Right, the Trump dinner, so I don't think we have a problem.
Okay. And I guess my last question, just like I asked the other gentleman, because if you're in this position, sooner or later, you're going to be criticized. How would you handle that?
Well, like I opened, my father was a Marine, and I got yelled at the whole time I was growing up, and you learn that when you get yelled at, to ask them, did you ever fight with your wife? I've done things like that. I've just been yelled at so many times that it's like, okay, rolls off my back. Can they calm down? Can we figure this out in the future? Is there, what can I do to help? Sometimes they just don't understand what I said. I don't understand what they said. And hopefully we can make it go away. Plus, I was an engineer working with project managers beating me over the head for 30 years, so I think I managed to not have any fights with them, so I think I'll be okay.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, and now our last candidate, Mr. Ralph Swindler. Go ahead and take your couple minutes to...
Hello, good evening. I'm Ralph Swindler, 240 HL 7th Circle. Nice to meet Madam Mayor, the rest of the council members. You've all seen my resume. I've lived in Callaway since 1994. I've actually lived in 2 residences here. I lived down in Callaway Point for the first 6.5 years that I've been here. Then I moved to HL 7th, where I currently live. I'm the big pink house, if you all know where that's at. I'm retired Air Force. Out at Tyndall, I was active duty for the first 7 years, and then I went to AGR, which was here at Tyndall. So basically I've been at Tyndall for almost 30 years in one capacity or another. I'm currently a DoD contractor. I process military members, dependents, civilian employees when they're going traveling. I book their flights, I book their hotels. Heck, if we've got people coming here to Tyndall, I always try to make sure that I put them at the Holiday Inn or the Comfort Suites, because I know that it's close to the base. Like I said, I've been here since 1934. I'm interested in being more active within the community. I've kind of viewed stuff from a periphery before. Now I'm trying to get a little more involved activity-wise. Can't always speak that well. I know a few months ago, there was a planning board position that I applied for, kind of got, didn't understand the process. One of the other members that are applicants, he reached out to me and said, hey, did you know that you were supposed to attend the meeting? I didn't realize that. That's foul on my part for not following up. And since then, I've been a little bit more involved. You've seen me the last several meetings. I've actually spoke with Mr. Cook previously, even finding out about this commission spot being open. Trying to open up my entrepreneurial spirit and trying to figure out, hey, Tyndall's going to explode here in a couple of years, if not already. There's nothing for the airmen to do on this side of town. Is there something we can bring to Callaway? And so I've been kind of thinking, racking my brain over that. I'm getting close to where I'm going to have to make a career decision if I'm going to stay in my job or, retire or open up another business. That's pretty much myself in a nutshell.
Okay, Commissioner Griggs, would you go ahead?
One of the things that has happened in Callaway in the last, I'm going to say in at least the last 8 years or so, or 7 years, is that where we've had, let's say, some crime issues and other things in the city, we have in the last 6, 7 years had an outstanding public service group for that. It's called our Sheriff's Department, Bay County Sheriff's Department. They've done so much internally, things that we can't even bring up. But we're in an entirely different position than we were years ago with respect to our citizens and respect to the various things that were going on. What is your feeling toward the Sheriff's Department?
I can remember, I think when I first moved here, Callaway still had a police department. And I vaguely remember budget constraints, and they went the route of using the Bay County Sheriff's Office as the law enforcement. And ever since that point, I've seen no problem with them. I've actually had a friend who's on the Sheriff's Department. I worked with him. He was auxiliary with the Guard, then he came on full-time, and then when he retired, he went back to the Sheriff's Department. So they're wonderful people.
Well, one of the reasons I'm bringing this up related to you is that, those wonderful things out there, all those wonderful sites that are out there that people put all kinds of comments on and everything else. At one time, I understand, I'm not going to give the specifics, but I understand that you have a problem with the Sheriff's Department that you actually posted online.
I do not recall ever posting anything negative about the Sheriff's Department.
Okay. And obvious question, have you read the goals? Have you read the charter?
I read the charter, I read the goals. I'll be honest, I forgot the goals, but I did read the charter, and I was going to myself, oh my gosh, this is a lot of information. And I'd have to read it again, probably a third and fourth time.
Okay, now, I am going to take the opportunity to explain this, that one of the reasons I'm asking, well, the major reason I'm asking those questions is because we're restricted on what we can do. We've made decisions recently that have been against what we're personally responsible for, but we are legally responsible for at least keeping city, you got cities around us that are in constant legal battles for one reason or another. We avoid that by at least doing what is legal. Not what we want all the time. Not what we want as relates to several things. I'll bring up RVs for one thing, but, you know, our personal opinions. Anyway, you've answered my question, so.
Commissioner Pelletier?
Back to my same questions. I'd like to know what motivated you to apply and what you're specifically wanting to accomplish during your time.
I was motivated when I saw the opportunity. I'm going, hey, this is an opportunity for me to get back to the place I've lived for pretty much 30 years. Like I said, kind of observing from the periphery, saw this as an opportunity to become more involved. The one thing that, like I kind of mentioned earlier, I know Tyndall's going to explode, and Callaway's poised in a really good position to not only work hand in hand with Tyndall, but, you know, to benefit from that with, you know, opportunities for entertainment for, you know, the airmen. I actually spoke with a master sergeant. He and his family moved on base, and we were talking today, and he goes, yeah, anything to do, we have to go into town, and that could be 30 minutes coming from on base. And we're talking, you know, like movie theaters or whatever. I mean, it'd be so nice if we had a movie theater on this side of town instead of having to go out to 23rd Street. It'd be nice to have, you know, some sort of engagement zone for young people, like, I'm not talking bars or anything like that, but, you know, like laser tag, place to do putt-putt, some sort of recreation. That's kind of what my motivating factor is.
Well, for those of us who've been around, we've tried the theater route, and that's a dead issue. And then, what would be your top priorities while the rest of the time on commission? What would you think your top priorities would be?
Making sure that projects that are planned are completed on time. For instance, I know we're doing the roundabout on Bertha. I know we're getting ready to get Cherry Street going. Trying to get those projects done with as little disruption in the lives of average Callaway citizens. Because I know when the Bertha Bridge was down, that was a big issue, especially on where I live and how I would go to Tyndall. It was either, you know, go down to Gay and over, or go all the way down to Cherry Street and go down out to base instead of taking a little back way to Bertha and then down Boat Race. So that would be my biggest issue to make sure it's resolved.
All right, thank you.
Before I get into the questions, I want to thank all three, you guys and gals, for putting yourselves out there. This is a tough job, and it's not part-time by any means, so, and it's complicated to understand all the regulations and what's embedded in them, like the LDRs and so forth. So you have whoever gets it has your work cut out for you, and I personally appreciate it. And that includes Mr. Hall. He withdrew his application, but he also understands how difficult this position is. So thank all three of you. Mr. Swindler, you have an MA in political science from Miami of Ohio?
Yes.
Okay, can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, I went to graduate school right after earning my undergraduate degree. Went there, and my real goal was to work, you know, State Department, intelligence, something like that. Got not drafted into the Air Force, but I got accepted into officer training school, and so that was kind of like my gateway into my career starting off. It kind of like dovetails. I was doing research for the professor. He was writing, you know, he was doing his, you know, research type of work and publishing, and so I was like his research assistant. But actually before that, I was doing my undergrad work, I actually worked political campaigns for congressmen. And then worked for a state Senate candidate who actually won basically the day before I left to go to the OTS.
As Air Force veterans, we move all over the place, so I couldn't really tell where you were born.
I was born in Ohio.
In Ohio, okay. So you went to Middle Tennessee State University, had a BA in International Relations?
Yes.
Okay, cool. And you've held a lot of leadership positions in the Air Force, I
Yes.
assume?
Okay. Okay. And I have one, it's, like I said to Ms. Custer, you know, Facebook is out there for everybody to see. I've actually had, once some people knew that you would put your name in the, you know, put your name in the hat for this position, I actually had some people get in touch with me. You have posted some pretty adamant political opinions on Facebook.
Yes, I have.
That are kind of one side leaning.
Yes.
I have had people get in touch with me out of concern that, would you be able to represent all people since you seem to be very strongly on one side?
Yes, that was a learning experience for myself. To be, it's not one side or the other, it was people in the situation. I'm very open to other ideas and other points of view. I guess you could say that I got a little extreme, but it's because in response to the extreme on the other side. And I've learned to self-correct and moderate. And to answer the question that you've asked all the other candidates or applicants, is that taking criticism. I've got two girls in their early 20s, and I can take their slings all day long.
Well, that's a little bit different than if you're sitting up here and it's done publicly by strangers, basically. It's a little bit different when it's your daughters at your house.
Right.
This is in a public forum, and people can not always be the kindest.
I understand that.
So you can handle it.
Yes.
Okay. As Commissioner Ayers said, I thank all three of you for the going to the time and the trouble to put in for this position. So now, gentlemen, I see we can do this in a couple of different ways, so we can decide before we do anything. You know, we could, number one, somebody could make a motion for a particular individual. If it gets seconded, we could vote on that individual. Or we could each, you know, we've got three candidates, we could each just cast our vote for who we think would be the best candidate. Or we could rank all three.
Let's start with a motion and see how that works out. That's okay.
We've done it all sorts of ways.
Yeah, that's it, that's why I said there's different ways,
It's one piece, one name down, and
yeah,
it's up to you guys.
I mean, that's
I
it.
don't mind writing the name down either, because that's, all of it's matter of record anyhow. It's all gonna be part
Yeah,
of it.
that's it, it's all gonna be.
That's not how we vote. We can do a motion, we could
So you
write
want-
name down, we could, whatever.
I mean, do we want
That's kind of what the, you know, when you look at the chart, well, yeah, I guess the charter, it talks about if there's, you know, two people are tied, then they draw. That's not you guys, it's the candidates.
Yes, so,
sort of-
I mean,
sort of
does each person just want to put down their choice? And we could tell.
I do have sheets if you don't want to do it that way. I did bring them just in case.
We could just each put down
Yeah,
our
that's fine.
candidate, our top choice.
Number one.
We don't have to rank everybody, we can just put down,
Just circle your
The names are on there already.
yeah, just circle. But you gave me Commissioner Griggs's slip.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realize I had names on.
I've got Bob
I
Pelletier.
wasn't told.
It's all right, you can vote. I'll vote on your behalf, you vote on
What's
theirs.
this? I didn't get any of them right.
That's
you
David
got the
Brooks,
blank
but
one.
he's already voted on
You
Bob.
didn't tell me there was names on them.
They were there. They were just, they were face up.
Look, all I'm doing is I'm just playing secretary, I ain't got nothing to do with it.
Well, Secretary, do you want my vote?
Yeah, I'll take it.
I just X'd. I put an X. Will that work?
That's all.
I just X mine. I didn't circle.
Drum roll. Three to one. Two is not a majority. It's a two is not a majority.
Two's not a majority.
In case it's 2-1.
Good.
Okay, so altogether, there were 3 votes for Mr. Birdsell, 1 vote for Mrs. Custer, and then none for Mr. Swindler. So it looks like it is Mr. Birdsell.
Okay, would somebody like to make a motion to that effect?
I'd like to make a motion that Bobby Birdsell be the Ward 1 Commissioner.
Somebody second?
Second.
Okay.
You already voted.
Well, that's true. I guess I should ask, did anybody in the audience want to say anything?
On this topic or?
Yes, right now on this topic. No, we'll have public participation very shortly. Okay, so we do have a motion and a second, so, and we've already voted, so I guess just to make it official, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed?
Nay.
Okay, so motion carries, and congratulations or condolences, Mr. Birdsell. So do we want to swear in now, or do
We can, I brought it just in case.
There's alcohol in the back.
I think that's typically what we do. I know this is how I originally came on the commission, and that's what they did, they swore me in that night.
That's true, yeah.
And then,
And then you get to sit there.
and then he can take his seat and listen to us all day comments. So, if you would like to come up, and she will,
Did we do this for
You did.
everyone?
I know. We did it for one of the people who got appointed in midstream. I think so, because it was at the end of the meeting, you could come up at the very end.
Do you solemnly swear or affirm
Do solemnly swear
that I am, or affirm,
or affirm
that I am duly qualified to hold office
that I am duly qualified to hold office
under the Constitution of the state
under the Constitution of the state
and under the Charter of the City of Callaway,
and under the Charter of the City of Callaway,
that I will support, honor, protect, and defend.
that I will support, honor, and defend.
I will support, honor, protect, and defend
I will support, honor, protect, and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
and the government of the United States
and the government of the United States
and of the state of Florida,
and of the state of Florida,
and that I will well and faithfully perform
and that I will well and faithfully perform
the duties of Commissioner Ward 1,
the duties of Commissioner Ward 1,
on which I am now about to enter,
in which I am now about to enter,
so help me God.
so help me God.
congratulations, you can come up and take your seat. And with that done, we will move to commission and staff comments. In the interest of time, I have no comments for tonight. Commissioner Gray,
No comment.
Mr. Pelletier,
We're gonna talk about Beacon Point, city attorney.
I can.
Yeah, I'd like to know, the status of that.
Okay. Right now?
sure, go ahead.
Yeah,
That's how it works, Kevin. They ask questions, you answer.
City attorney comments.
Well, no, but since he's asked specifically.
No, they,
What? I get to
they
take that off my
have,
list.
hired an attorney, and
Okay.
they've sent an offer, which, from, whatever, I can talk to you guys individually about it, but it's not anything that we're wanting to accept.
Okay.
And so, and it, yeah, I don't want to talk about, but settlement negotiations, but basically, yeah, they have engaged an attorney.
Okay, so they have an attorney, we have our attorney.
And,
Okay.
yes, and we're
I kinda figured that's where we were going with
That's
that.
where we're at, exactly as expected.
Okay.
So,
Yep, and you know, if it's not the full amount, we don't want to accept it.
And city
That's what
manager,
they told me.
when you get through your comments, can you talk about, cameras in the park,
Yes,
Go Park?
yes.
That's all I got.
Okay, Commissioner Ayers?
Real quick, been a little under the weather, but I've been attending everything I could. I have one question for the citizen. They would like to know when Lake Drive is going to be paved. The portion where we had to tear up for the septic tank.
Hopefully the end of the week.
End of this week.
That's what we're shooting for.
Pretty quick.
We're shooting for, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm sure he'll accept that.
That it? Okay. Okay, City Clerk, do you have anything for us?
No, ma'am.
Okay. City Attorney, do you have anything else for us?
You
Okay.
left off the new guy. That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Burnsell, Commissioner Burnsell, do you have anything?
Nothing this time.
Okay. I apologize.
30 seconds.
Okay, you're up.
I want to quickly address the issue on Lake Drive. People need to understand that when we do massive road cuts like that, that was a 9-foot deep road cut. We actually put 12 inches and compacted all the way up, but still when we get to the top, we have to put dolomite on there. It has to sit and settle before we can pave it. So it's not a matter of, oh, we're just not doing it. We just cut it up and leave it. That's not it. That dirt has to compact in after a couple of rains. That way we can go through, we'll scrape it, we'll pave it, and we don't create another dip there. So that's where that's coming from. Hugh Thomas, underway, on time. Sandy Creek, still in environmental. The lift stations, we should start work on those in January. The materials are starting to come in now, and we expect everything to be by basically in December, but we don't expect much to happen there until after the first of the year. So they're still within their time frame, and they should be able to finish without a problem. The roundabout, I put an email out. They have been mobilizing, but they're probably not going to start until Monday. We switched the sign, the digital sign to say that, and and actually, I just found that out right before the meeting, so if you would put that out, that says it's probably going to delay starting up until Monday. If y'all been out to Brittany Woods Park, we did a lot of work out there on the new acquired land, just so everybody kind of understand where that come from. We were at the end of budget year. When we come out at the end of budget year, these budgets start running out of money, so we had to wait for the new budget year to start, so we had some free time. We sent the guys out there. They've done a tremendous job. We've actually cleaned most of the lake out. We still got some more work. We've excavated all the way around it, and we're just waiting on that to dry out. We still have to haul some dirt off, and then we'll go back in. We will completely refinish that whole entire area, and we'll get some seed out in there.
And slab and pole barn. Slab and pole barn.
That's it, yes. The pole barn is up also. Cherry Street, we're waiting for Tico to tell us. It should be any time now. We're waiting on them to come in with they've ordered all their materials. When the materials come in, they're going to start. So we're still in the 45 days, just so you're wondering.
I'm wondering when the 45 days start.
You just keep it.
We're having a parade on Cherry Street.
We're going to have a parade.
Started it, okay?
I'm going to take a backhoe out there and dig a hole. Y'all just don't know it. I've been learning how to drive it. So that's where we are on that. We're hoping to get started on that one.
They haven't committed to a time, correct? Have Tico committed to a time?
They said 45 days from the last time we had our meeting, which was 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago?
When was that?
What was that day?
That was 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago today.
So,
31 to go. 45 days from
Yeah,
there.
about 45 days, yeah.
31 to go.
Why are you so worried about it? It's gonna happen. Just let me do my magic.
I gave you a shovel 2 years ago.
And I still got the shovel, and I got the pail that goes with it.
And
I'm
magic
gonna be out there in the
hasn't
picture
happened in 8
holding
or 10
it,
years.
okay?
The magic has been, how long?
Cameras are up.
Years?
Hey, I'm trying to get out of here. Cameras are up in the parks.
Okay. Are they
Tim, what's the
working?
last one?
Are they working?
Veterans Park is the last park. They are working, yes.
Okay.
Everyone except for in Veterans Park, we're still having to put some infrastructure in on that. But the rest of the parks, cameras are up. I just received access this afternoon, by the way. So we'll finish setting up the rest of that. But we've got the hierarchies and everything are set up for that. And there we go. What else you want to know?
Did he miss anything that anybody
He did,
wanted
but
about?
it's getting late.
Beacon Point.
I'll keep it to.
He did Beacon Point.
Beacon Point looks great, by the way. They've cleaned
Yes,
it all
it
up.
does.
And it really
Yes, it
looks
does. Okay.
Pastor it does. What did I miss?
I'll talk to you later.
Good.
Okay, we'll go ahead and do the announcements. This Thursday is the Historical Society meeting. It will be in the Community Center at Gore Park at 5:30. Anna Pelletier is going to tell some haunted stories from the area.
I can't be there, by the way. I had a previous.
I can't be there either, so. Okay, on the 21st, we have it looks like there definitely is a planning board meeting. Okay, so there'll be a planning board meeting next Tuesday, and then October the 28th, we'll have another commission meeting right here at 6 o'clock. It's all the announcements that I'm aware of. So we will now have public comments. So ma'am, you wanted to speak about something
I was already packing up, I'm sorry.
My apologies for extending this evening.
No, you're fine.
Good evening, Mayor Henderson, commissioners, and fellow residents. My name is Jay Diodar. I am new-ish to the Callaway community. I have moved here, well, I grew up in Maryland, but moved here from Arkansas with my fiance, and I reside in Laird Point. So I am actively working in cancer research in Panama City, and thank you so much for this opportunity. First, I would like to recognize the progress that Callaway has made post-Michael. I've definitely recognized that, so thank you for all of that leadership. I've corresponded with the mayor on elevating Cherry Street, and I'm very excited to share a quick vision that builds on our city's momentum, especially for Beacon Point and Jennifer from Destination Panama City at the top of this evening, who highlighted that the resident is truly an ambassador for the destination. So building on that, I would like to start by saying that Cherry Street is our gateway, linking to Tyndall Parkway and the boat ramp and the community center over there, beyond just drawing commuters and families, and highlighted today, potentially in the future, tourism as well. So the multi-million-dollar rehab with the drainage, the sidewalks, the repaving is a game changer for safety and access. And but the mobile home parks like Callaway Heights at 6703 and the corner of Balua, I think is how it's pronounced, the mobile homes there, there's untapped potential for equitable redevelopment into mixed-use retail. If you think more of boating and fishing supply shops, markets, boat wash for folks going to the boat ramp, and even for patrons of the community center, while attracting restaurants like retail to Beacon Point and Cherry Street near Tyndall Parkway. Imagine adding conveniences like dry cleaners, dining, ice cream shop, or exercise like hot yoga and Orange Theory. Services residents currently drive outside of our community and or over the Hathaway Bridge to patrons. So this could boost tax revenue. Oh, sorry, your time is up. Thank you.
Thank you.
Sure, thank you. Hey, did anybody else want to speak? Is everybody ready to go home?
No.
Do you want, come on, Ms. Langston?
You weren't supposed to be here tonight.
No, my vacation changed.
Good.
I'm leaving Thursday. Teresa Langston, 6031 Lynn Street, but I am really glad I witnessed what happened here tonight. I know that previously you had spoke about the person that you would want to be on the commission, or somebody that would fill it, would know, have knowledge, attend meetings, you know, kind of be, well, we kind of had that. We had somebody involved in the community with the different meetings. I'm kind of disappointed in the commission tonight, just based on picking someone that don't know, that, you know what I mean? We had somebody that come to the meetings. I don't even know, I'm just frustrated because, you know, we try to do better, we want better for Callaway, but it doesn't seem like most of the commission wants better. Most of the commission wants, who's gonna do what I say, who's gonna do what I want, who's gonna, you know, pat each other on the back and stuff. I mean, our commission has forgotten who leads and who follows. I'm just disappointed. And, you know, we will eventually have elections coming up, and I hope that the citizens speak their disappointment as well, just based on the fact that, you know, you guys say one thing, but when it comes to voting and doing, you know, you gaslight the citizens constantly. Every Tuesday night that there's a commission meeting, there's some type of gaslighting going on with somebody up there. And I'm just disappointed.
Thank you, Ms. Langston.
Ridiculous.
Martin Bosser, 6303 Wallace Road. The whole criticism thing, you agreed to it, here it comes. You asked me where the restroom is. That means that the commission has selected a gentleman that doesn't come to this building. And maybe not everybody comes here and needs to use the restroom, you know, but to me, I come to these meetings. I see people come to these meetings. I see somebody come to these meetings that knows where the charter is, that knows the goals. And then I see the commission not select that person. And, you know, is that going to be transparent, or do we get to find out which way y'all voted?
Yes, it's public information.
Is that going to be read tonight? Into
They
the
like
record?
you can do
Okay.
a records request, I mean.
It was a 3-1 vote.
Yeah, and I mean, you know, Commissioner Pelletier voted against, so that tells you who the
Already know who the
3 was,
vote
who
is.
the 1 was.
Yeah, but I mean, like, there was numbers of people that selected that person, so like, you know.
There's 3-1 vote.
Yeah.
I was the ascending vote. I voted for Karen Kless.
Remember when I said I was bad at math, don't let me to do math.
So that's where the vote is.
Okay. And on a
I'm happy to say what I did.
on a totally unrelated side note that has nothing to do with what's discussed here, I've stood up here, I called for resignation. And hopefully, like everybody else, we're past that. It didn't happen. You didn't resign. The thing that, you know, I'm past that. I'm ready to work with you.
Yeah, and I'm ready to work with y'all, so, and I have been.
But I'm past it. So what I'm saying is like, you know, I think that all of us need to be past it.
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? I don't see anybody, so I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.